Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, local emergency services on high alert as Tropical Storm Melissa forms just south of Jamaica.
Our emergency management teams under the coordination of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management ODPEM are on full alert.
The storm is expected to bring heavy rains across sections of the island within 36 hours.
The PMP walks out of Parliament after the Speaker enforces standing orders on questions.
I'm very concerned by the way in which the proceedings are being conducted. We are attempting to ask questions arising from the statement.
Police chief wants murders kept below 152 for the final 71 days of the year.
JFJ survey finds 40% of domestic violence victims took no steps to report it.
In news from the rest of the world, Tropical Storm Melissa expected to dump 5 to 10 inches of rain on Haiti.
Plans for Trump-Putin meeting shelved days after Budapest talks proposed.
In headline sports, World Athletics has released its Wanda Diamond League calendar for the 2026 edition.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, a tropical storm watch is now in effect for Jamaica. Manager of the Weather Services at the Met Office, Rohan Brown, and Acting Director General of ODPEM, Richard Thompson, will join us.
In Public Opinion at 6:26, we ask, are you preparing for Tropical Storm Melissa? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, how are we preparing for Tropical Storm Melissa? We'll hear from Montego Bay's Mayor, Richard Vernon, the Member of Parliament for East Kingston and Port Royal, Philip Paulwell, and the Labour and Social Security Minister, Pernell Charles Jr.
At 7, Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar has parted from CARICOM and is supporting U.S. military strikes in the Caribbean Sea. She describes the operations as necessary to create a true zone of peace. Senior reporter at CNC3 News, Ryan Bachu, will join us.
At 8, it's Prescription for Life with Dr. Andre MacDonald.
And at 9, it's Affairs of the Heart with Rodney Campbell.
All these and more as we take you home on air, on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, RevaNews.ai, and on the Reva News app. Available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Tuesday afternoon, it's Tuesday, October 21, 2025.
The hour is brought to you by the KFC Value Menu. Grab a chicken box, famous bowl, crunch sandwich, or small popcorn chicken with combos starting at just $620. KFC, it's finger licking good.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. Jamaica could begin to experience storm-like conditions as early as Thursday. That's according to the latest release from the Meteorological Service of Jamaica. A tropical storm watch remains in effect for the island. Principal Director Evan Thompson says Tropical Storm Melissa is moving slowly towards the east coast of the island.
It is projected to move closer and closer toward the east coast of Jamaica, but the problem is that the system is moving extremely slowly. It is not expected to move out of the area until well into the weekend. So right throughout this week, it's going to be basically over the waters to the southeast of Jamaica.
The Met Office says once the system is in the vicinity of Jamaica, it's expected to produce heavy rainfall and strong gusty winds. This will mainly affect northeastern and southern parishes. But Mr. Thompson says most of the rain is predicted to remain over Haiti.
What is forecast is that it will creep toward that channel, the Windward Passage that is between Jamaica and Haiti, and then likely move toward the north. But even that is not very clear because there is some disparity with respect to the models that are projecting the direction of movement. However, originally we had said it would bring significant rainfall to Jamaica over the next few days. Because of where it is now projected to go, that chance is reduced somewhat in that most of the rainfall seems to be occurring to the right side of the center, which means that when it is close to Jamaica, most of the rain is likely to be over toward Haiti at that time.
That's Evan Thompson, Principal Director at the Met Office.
And flooding was experienced in sections of the corporate area Tuesday afternoon as weather conditions begin to deteriorate. Motorists reported flooding on Marcus Garvey Drive in Kingston.
I just came through Marcus Garvey Drive. Aspects of Marcus Garvey Drive is already flooded. The traffic is heavy. I almost spent half an hour on Marcus Garvey Drive just now because of the flooding.
Flooding was also reported along Birdsucker Drive in St. Andrew.
The Environment and Climate Change Minister Matthew Samuda is urging Jamaicans to remain vigilant as Tropical Storm Melissa draws closer to the island. At 4 p.m., the system was located 305 miles south of Port-au-Prince in Haiti. Addressing the House of Representatives this afternoon, the minister says the storm is being closely monitored.
Melissa's formation is a sobering reminder that this year's Atlantic hurricane season will not be ending quietly. As of this morning, reports from the National Hurricane Center, Division of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in the USA, which tracks and predicts tropical cyclones, indicated that the storm is churning approximately 480 kilometers, which is approximately 300 miles south of Port-au-Prince, Haiti, or 630 kilometers southeast of Morant Point. We are now expecting to start experiencing heavy rains sometime tomorrow night at current projections. But to note that the situation is indeed fluid and the Hurricane Center and our own Met Service is indeed monitoring closely.
Current projections suggest Tropical Storm Melissa could intensify into a Category 1 hurricane by Saturday. The minister says its proximity to the island demands caution and heightened awareness. He says the country's disaster response apparatus is on standby and is ready to respond.
Our emergency management teams under the coordination of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management ODPEM are on full alert. Importantly, I want to assure you that your government is working tirelessly to ensure that the systems we have developed to protect you are indeed activated. The Met Service of Jamaica, for which I have portfolio responsibility, continues to monitor the storm's movement closely and will provide continuous updates as new data becomes available. In this respect, disaster coordinators are on alert to assist potentially vulnerable persons in our communities across the island. Additionally, the island-wide network of 881 shelters will be made available as the need arises, and the shelter managers are already on alert and preparing the designated spaces. Later today,
that's Matthew Samuda, the Environment and Climate Change Minister.
Meanwhile, opposition spokesperson on the environment, Omar Newell, criticized the government's preparedness for the impending storm. Mr. Newell, who represents Central St. Mary, says no attempt has been made to brief members of Parliament on the preparation work being done for the storm.
Events of this nature, we believe, are things we can prepare for. We know that one of the results of climate change has been more adverse weather conditions. And as a new member of this House, I find it unfortunate that I have not been a part of any briefing to advise me on what preparatory steps have been taken to get us ready during this disaster period. I'm told, Madam Speaker, that sometime in the summer, some funds would have been provided for drain cleaning. I imagine a lot of those drains have now blocked up and a lot of those verges have experienced overgrowth.
Newell says citizens in some low-lying communities will go to bed uneasy tonight. He says it's clear that an opportunity to adequately prepare for the possible weather event was missed by the government. He also faulted the administration for not announcing emergency drain cleaning measures ahead of the storm.
We also came here today, Madam Speaker, to hear, since there was no preparation for what may come, and not all the fault of the minister, because the Ministry of Works and Local Government had a role to play in the preparation. But since there's no evidence of preparation, Madam Speaker, we were hoping to hear that some emergency steps would have been taken to ensure that we can get some of those drains clean to mitigate against the possible flooding that will come.
Omar Newell, opposition spokesman on the environment.
And the opposition walked out of the House of Representatives today following the Speaker Juliet Holness's demand that they stick to the standing orders when asking questions. Mrs. Holness clamped down on the practice of lengthy statements accompanying questions to ministers.
Statement by minister is followed by a 5-minute response. It is the only response that is made in the House to a statement by minister, after which only questions are taken, and your questions need to be exactly that.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Once again,
Madam,
please avail yourself of Standing Order 11A with also emphasis on Standing Order 17 subsection 2.
This is the third sitting of the House in the new parliamentary term. Things came to a head as the opposition attempted to query Minister Samuda regarding his statement on Tropical Storm Melissa. Opposition leader Mark Golding took the Speaker to task for her approach shortly before leading his members in a walkout.
I'm very concerned by the way in which the proceedings are being conducted. We are attempting to ask questions arising from the statement. The statement was a wide-ranging statement. It not only touched and concerned the specific minister's portfolio, he also said he was speaking on behalf of the Minister of Local Government, who is overseas, who has direct responsibility for disaster preparedness. On more than one occasion, the member on this side who was sought to ask a question has been prevented from completing the question, and instead a point of order has been taken, which I don't know what the ruling was, or you yourself have intervened to prevent the statement, the question from being asked. I want to know what the question was that the member for South East St. Mary was seeking to ask. I don't know what his question is.
That's Mark Golding, the leader of the opposition.
The Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, is advising farmers to make the necessary preparations in light of the tropical storm watch issued for Jamaica. The watch was issued following the formation of Tropical Storm Melissa on Tuesday. Khaleesi Wright reports.
RADA says farmers should make the necessary preparations to minimize the impact of flooding and wind damage. It says farmers should clear drains to allow free flow of water to prevent flooding and stagnation following the expected weather event. RADA is also urging farmers to harvest crops where practical and check surroundings and buildings for danger of fallen trees and electrical wires. Farmers are also being urged to ensure there is sufficient stock of pesticides and seeds and also adequate quantities of fungicides where plants are susceptible to fungal or bacterial diseases and are likely to need treatments after the passage of the weather event. In the event of high winds, greenhouse farmers should be prepared to remove cladding, lay plants flat and cover them with plastic sheeting held down by twine tied across house posts. Livestock farmers are being urged to keep an identification tag on livestock at all times. They should also be prepared to move animals to a higher ground. In the event of flooding, livestock farmers are being advised to free animals so they can swim to safety. They are also being urged to make provisions for enough livestock feed and clean water to last at least a week, and to keep a 1-month supply of medications and livestock supplements on hand. Khaleesi Wright for Nationwide News.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
See twice the style for less at IQ Optical. Buy one pair of glasses and get your second and third pair half price. Don't miss out. Call 876-929-7732 or visit IQ Optical today, where clarity never looked sharper.
The time by IQ Optical is...
It's 14 minutes after 5.
Rent-A-Kill Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rent-A-Kill Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rent-A-Kill is
30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 31 out west in Montego Bay.
Continuing the news, Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake has urged the men and women of the constabulary force to ensure the country does not record more than 152 murders for the remaining 71 days of the year. The challenge comes as the police chief pushes to achieve the force target of fewer than 700 murders for 2025. If achieved, it will be one of the lowest murder tallies in more than 30 years. Mahiri Stewart reports.
The Commissioner's reminder is found in the latest edition of the Commissioner's Corner in the Force Orders. Dr. Blake urged his colleagues to keep in mind the target of recording fewer than 700 murders for 2025. He says in order to achieve this, homicides in Jamaica must not surpass 152 for the remainder of the year. At the midway point in October, the country had seen 548 murders. Dr. Blake says the country has already recorded an entire quarter with 156 murders. He says that suggests keeping the tally for the rest of the year below 152 is an achievable feat. The police chief urged the members of the JDF to keep focused and get it done. The last time Jamaica recorded fewer than 700 murders was in 1994 when the tally stood at 690. That's 31 years ago. Dr. Blake told the men and women under his command that credit for the declines in murder should be given to the various stakeholders who have supported the vision of a peaceful Jamaica. According to Dr. Blake, despite the loud detractors, the force must remain grounded and focused on the greater good. Dr. Blake says the police must remain focused on creating a country where law-abiding citizens are not imprisoned by fear and where communities are reclaimed from murderous hoodlums. The Commissioner says those who seek to divide or diminish the progress being made do so from a position of self-interest and insecurity. Dr. Blake says the end of the journey will not be measured merely by the murder tally recorded, but by renewed confidence the force gains from the nation. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
40% of people who've experienced domestic violence took no action to report it despite knowing what to do. That's according to a report published by human rights lobby group Jamaicans for Justice, JFJ. The data were obtained from 1,003 participants across 5 parishes. Shalois Michael has been reading the report.
Of the 1,003 participants, 557 say they've been exposed to domestic violence but did not report it. This is despite knowing the proper channels to do so. JFJ says the data highlights a gap between awareness and action when it comes to protecting one's self from abuse. Another 67% of respondents revealed they had witnessed incidents of domestic violence. Notably, 202 or 20% of respondents admitted that they were perpetrators of domestic violence. 60 of those were females. Overall, 75% of the respondents were both victims and perpetrators of domestic violence. On the matter of justification, approximately 26% of the respondents sought to justify domestic violence for varying reasons. These include provocation, cheating, high stress, and in the case of drug use. According to the survey, 32% of respondents showed low empathy for victims of domestic violence, believing that if the situation was bad enough, the victim would leave. Interestingly, only 36 survivors and 10 abusers indicated that an occupation order was obtained after seeking help. An occupation order grants the victim exclusive occupancy of the shared residence, forcing the abuser to vacate the premises. As part of its findings, the lobby group is recommending a strengthening of education and public awareness campaigns on domestic violence, especially against justification. It's also urging the government to reconvene the Joint Select Committee to strengthen the Domestic Violence Act. The The survey was conducted across Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Manchester, St. James, and St. Anne. The data was collected face-to-face between August 29 and September 13, 2024. It has a margin of error of 3%. Shaloy Smichael for Nationwide News.
The Supreme Court has set November 18 as the date it will hear the judicial review application filed by defeated PNP candidate in West Central St. Andrew, Paul Buchanan. The date was set at a case management hearing today. The judge ruled the relevant documents should be served on the successful candidate in the seat, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. Documents will also be served on the country's Attorney General, Dr. Derek McCoy, who will represent the constituted authority. Buchanan is seeking judicial review of the constituted authority's decision to throw out his bid to overturn the result of the September 3 general election in the constituency. Holness prevailed in the election, polling 7,090 votes to Buchanan's 4,980. But Buchanan continues to falsely insist he won the seat, citing alleged irregularities.
I believe in my heart I won the election, and I won it very big. There are 33,000 voters in that constituency. We have 3 divisions, 8,000 in the Civil Rights Division, smallest. We have 11,000 in Olympic, which is Mr. Holness's strong area. And there is Mullines, which has 13,400, by far the largest. We have never lost it, not since adult suffrage. Andrew knew that if Mullines came out, the election was lost, no matter what he did.
That's Paul Buchanan. The Electoral Commission says after careful consideration of the affidavits and the relevant case law, the constituted authority found that the evidence presented did not satisfy the standard contemplated by the wording of the law. As such, the constituted authority refused Buchanan's request. Buchanan is being represented by attorney Hugh Waldman.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
Tropical storm Melissa, which formed in the Caribbean Sea today, is on a path towards Haiti. Forecasters are warning that heavy rain, flooding, and strong winds from the storm could lash Haiti and Jamaica later this week. At about 4 p.m. this afternoon, Melissa was packing 50 miles per hour winds. It's moving west at 15 miles per hour. Officials said Haiti and the Dominican Republic could see 5 to 10 inches of rainfall by Friday. Aruba, Puerto Rico, and Jamaica could get between 1 to 3 inches of rain. The U.S. National Hurricane Center issued a hurricane watch for parts of Haiti, while the Jamaican government issued a tropical storm watch for the island.
A Trump-Putin summit planned for Budapest to resolve the war in Ukraine has been put on hold. The meeting was announced last week and was supposed to take place in Budapest, Hungary in the near future. But according to a White House official, the plan has been paused after a call between U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. The decision to hold off on a Trump-Putin meeting will likely relieve European leaders, including the British Prime Minister, the French President, and the German Chancellor. They have accused Putin of stalling for time with diplomacy while trying to gain ground on the battlefield. The European leaders say they oppose any push to make Ukraine surrender land captured by Russian forces in return for peace. It's a plan that has been suggested occasionally by Donald Trump.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour. Local emergency services on high alert as Tropical Storm Melissa forms just south of Jamaica.
Our emergency management teams under the coordination of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, are on full alert.
The storm is expected to bring heavy rains across sections of the island within 36 hours.
The PMP walks out of the parliament after Speaker Juliet Holness enforces standing orders on questions.
I'm very concerned by the way in which the proceedings are being conducted. We are attempting to ask questions arising from the statement.
Police chief wants murders kept below 152 for the final 71 days of the year.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Roby-Ann Williams.
And you can find the news on our website at rivanews.ai and on the Riva News app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. You like the news, Judy?
Of course.
Yeah?
Of course.
You look good.
You look good too.
News next, the headlines at 6.
Doritos and KFC, cheesy, delicious, crunchy. New collaboration, run the country. Doritos Zinger, hot and spicy. Doritos nacho cheese chips, cheddar cheese sauce. We not leave it. KFC with the extra crunch. The new Doritos Zinger, I want for lunch. The new KFC Doritos Zinger, the delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy zinger and the irresistible flavor of Doritos. Available for a limited time. KFC and Doritos, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
It's Monday, get over your blues. Or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The E-Zone is here for you. With the Stinger Honeybee
and Karim Boyatings
from 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
We've got your entertainment news.
Then we want to hear your views. Why you said?
Jump in the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss our brain busters.
Or the crazy giveaways.
Let's talk fashion.
Send us your outfit of the day. Ooh, cutesy. Very demure.
Are you looking for love?
Come on one of our blind dates. Send your request to ezoneblindates@gmail.com. That's ezoneblindates@gmail.com.
And stay tuned for your confessions.
These are my confessions.
Share them with us at ezoneconfessions@yahoo.com. I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bugger thing.
Ow! Ow!
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, by God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path. Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. The West Indies captain Shai Hope says the team showed great belief as they held their nerve to beat Bangladesh in a thrilling super over in Dhaka on Tuesday to level their three-match one-day international series. The scores were tied up at 213 after both teams batted out their 50 overs. The West Indies then made 10 runs off their super over, but Akeal Hussain produced the goods despite having a 1-no ball and 2 wides as the West Indies defended the total. The Windies bowled spin for all 50 overs of the Bangladesh innings, the first time ever in one-day internationals. Hope slammed the man of the match unbeaten 53 in the West Indies chase of 214. The Hope was naturally happy the team was able to get over the line eventually.
We thought that if we could have restricted them for, let's say, 160, 170 or so, it would have made batting a lot easier. But yeah, things like that happen, you know, guys play very well in the back end, so that's how cricket goes sometimes. But yeah, we were just happy to get this one. We fought really hard with the bat. It was very tough going once again. But I think the wicket played is slightly better than the first one. But yeah, like I said before, I'm very proud of the guys and great to see us level this series.
Yeah, the third and deciding game is set for Thursday, match time 2:30 a.m. Jamaica time, and Hope is hopeful that this could be a morale booster for the team.
Hopefully we can learn from this game, especially in the batting innings, and try to take those learnings into the next one.
West Indies white ball captain Shai Hope. The 2026 Wonder Diamond League season, the 17th edition, will have its customary start in Asia with a Doha meeting in Qatar on Friday, May 8th. Following another record-breaking year in 2025, many of the sport's biggest names will be hoping to make a victory or history once again when Athletics' premier one-day series returns. As in previous years, athletes will compete for points at 14 meetings as they bid to qualify for the series final in Brussels and a shot at the iconic Diamond Trophy. The African leg of the series will take place in Rabat in Morocco, May 31, before the first European meeting of the season in Rome the following week. After stops in Stockholm, Oslo and Paris, the athletes will head to Eugene on the US West Coast for a meeting which has seen some 5 world records in the past 3 seasons alone. The series then heads to Europe for meetings in Monaco and London before the road to the final enters the home straight in August. Lausanne, Silesia and Zurich will be the last stops before athletes assemble in the Belgian capital Brussels for the 2-day final, the 4th and 5th of September. The series will take place on 4 different continents. Jamaica's under-17 Reggae Boys were drawn in Group G for the CONCACAF FIFA Under-17 World Cup qualifiers come next February. The young Reggae Boys will face the likes of Canada, Aruba and the Cayman Islands, with the group winners qualifying directly to the FIFA Under-17 World Cup in Qatar. The tournament is scheduled to run from August 3 to 12 of next year, with matches to be played in 6 countries: Honduras, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Panama, Trinidad and Tobago, Costa Rica and Guatemala. Jamaica just missed qualifying for the 2025 edition when they conceded a late goal in a 2-1 defeat to El Salvador during the final round qualifiers in Guatemala in February. World Footballer of the Year, the Frenchman Ousmane Dembélé, was amongst the scorers on Tuesday as champions Paris Saint-Germain crushed Bayer Leverkusen of Germany 7-2 in a European Champions League game at the Bay Arena in Germany. However, it was last season's Young Player of the Year, Desiree Doué, who starred for the Parisians. He got a double to keep them top of the standings with a perfect 3 from 3.
Doué, Kvaratskhelia, back with Desiree Doué! And PSG are back with the lead. All played through by Arthur, but there's no way through to a teammate. Look at the room now that PSG have. Hakimi's going into the box. He wasn't needed. It's 4-1. It's a quite wonderful strike from Desiree Doué. He's got his second of the half. He's got his second in a matter of 7 minutes.
Also making it 3 from 3 was the English Premier League leaders Arsenal, who brushed aside Atletico Madrid 4-0 at the Emirates, thanks to a double from the Swedish international Victor Gyökeres. Manchester City tagged Villarreal 2-0 in Spain with goals from Erling Haaland and Bernardo Silva. Newcastle stopped Benfica 3-0 at St. James's Park. Fermi Lopez bagged a hat-trick as FC Barcelona. They won 6-1 over Olympiacos, and Lamine Yamal made a scoring return to the Catalonia club. That's sport. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade. From Kingston to the world, from Montego Bay to new adventures, and from Ocho Rios to endless possibilities. Wherever you're headed, we will proudly take you there. Jamaica's Airport, your global gateway. The temperature brought to you by the Airports Authority of Jamaica is
31 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 30 in the western city, Montego Bay.
Every school is free of unhealthy, ultra-processed products. You know, those high in salt, fats, and sugar. If only that weren't a dream. The reality is that many children have an unhealthy diet at school, and 23% of them are overweight or obese. This can lead to hypertension, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes. Let's protect our children's right to health with a policy for schools that prevents unhealthy food marketing and ensures access to nutritious foods. The time is now. Let's implement the National School Nutrition Policy. A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica and partners.
Spring into style with Unique Living. Upgrade your home with our extensive range of products. Get sleek shower panels, stylish vanities, LED and non-LED mirrors, plus kitchen sinks, closet solutions, ceiling fans, and more. Available in various finishes and sizes. Visit shop number 630 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10. Call 876-755-3661 or visit our website at www.uniquelivingja.com. Don't wait to spring into style with Unique Living.
Doritos and KFC, cheesy, delicious, crunchy. New collaboration, run the country. Doritos Zinger, hot and spicy. Doritos nacho cheese chips, cheddar cheese sauce. We not leave it. KFC with the extra crunch. The new Doritos Zinger, I want for lunch. The new KFC Doritos Zinger, the delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy zinger and the irresistible flavor of Doritos. Available for a limited time. KFC and Doritos, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
Not a mercy. This one is very classic, dedicated to all the schoolers who are taking bits.
If you've ever struggled to pass an exam, then you'll know that students today are under great pressure to get good grades and secure qualification needed to move on to higher education. The problem is that too many students are struggling alone and could really benefit from connecting with hardworking teachers and other bright students in other parts of the country and the region. Join me, Dennis Brooks, this and every Friday evening from 8 to 9, with a repeat on Saturday morning from 8 to 9. For the A-Team, a study group on radio, my team of teachers, students, and experts will break down the syllabus, giving you information, tips, and past paper questions that will help you get top grades in your upcoming exams. Follow us on Facebook Live and on Twitter and be a part of the community. It's the A-Team, Fridays at 8 p.m. with a repeat at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. It's your free extra class on radio and social media. And it's right here on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Public opinion. Stop this foolish about this GLP and PMP business. We are Jamaican.
Different people.
It's not a matter of a GLP or a PMP. I think it's more like where it is that you think you're comfortable, what support you can afford to make the country better.
Different views.
Most entertainers, they're not amenable to management, so the only thing that can ultimately structure them is the court and the prison.
Public opinion. The voice of the people at 6:25 p.m. weekdays during Nationwide at 5. Tune into Nationwide at 6:25 p.m. for Public Opinion, where the people's views matter.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5. I'm Cliff Hughes.
Good afternoon, Cliff. Good afternoon, listeners. I'm Ricardo Brooks. And before we get to the weather, we're going to start with developments out of the House of Representatives. The opposition...
But just before you go, you should tell our listeners, for the cover story, it is the story of the afternoon, where Tropical Storm Melissa is now just about 330 miles southeast of Moran Point in Jamaica, and it's heading in our direction. We're going to have more on that later.
So, to the House now. The opposition walked out of the House of Representatives following the Speaker's demand that they stick to standing orders when asking questions. Bugs the story, PMP walkout. Mrs. Holness clamped down on what she says was a practice of lengthy statements accompanying questions to ministers.
Statement by minister is followed by a 5-minute response. It is the only response that is made in the House to a statement by Minister, after which only questions are taken, and your questions need to be exactly that.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Once again,
Madam,
please avail yourself of Standing Order 11A with also emphasis on Standing Order 17 subsection 2.
This is the third sitting, only the third sitting of the House in the new parliamentary term. Things came to a head as the opposition attempted to question Minister Samuda regarding his statement on Tropical Storm Melissa. The opposition leader, Mark Golding, took the Speaker to task for her approach shortly before leading his members in a walkout.
I'm very concerned by the way in which the proceedings are being conducted. We are attempting to ask questions arising from the statement. The statement was a wide-ranging statement. It not only touched and concerned the specific minister's portfolio, he also said he was speaking on behalf of the Minister of Local Government, who is overseas, who has direct responsibility for disaster preparedness. On more than one occasion, the member on this side who was sought to ask a question has been prevented from completing the question, and instead a point of order has been taken, which I don't know what the ruling was, or you yourself have intervened to prevent the statement, the question from being asked. I want to know what the question was that the member for South East St. Mary was seeking to ask. I don't know what his question is.
Opposition Leader Mark Golding there. Joining us now, the Member of Parliament for South St. James and the opposition's spokesman on information and culture, I believe it is, Nikisha Burchell. Good afternoon.
Hello, hi, afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What did the walkout achieve, Ms. Burchell?
What did you say?
What did the walkout achieve?
The walkout was our final.
Studio, I'm not hearing her very clearly at all. We have with us the opposition spokesman on information. She is the Member of Parliament for South St. James, Nikisha Burchell. Ms. Burchell?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I hear you well. What happened today in Parliament was not a play or a pantomime. It wasn't about politics for us. It was about power versus principle. From the start of this session, the opposition made it clear that we were not comfortable with the way in which this present speaker operated in the last term, and therefore we did not give her support when she was nominated to be the Speaker of this House. Because the Speaker ought to be an impartial umpire, not someone who leaves the umpire's area and comes onto the field to play. And what we saw today was another attempt, following from last week, by the Speaker to try to muzzle the opposition and to dictate what we should ask in terms of questions on behalf of people who sent us to Parliament. And so when we tried repeatedly to negotiate terms, including the leader of opposition business going to the Speaker's desk to speak with her directly, to ask for some leeway. In fact, the leader of the opposition business had written to the Speaker ahead to say, given that this is an emergency, this is a big national issue, it's an impending disaster, we're asking for some latitude to give our members an opportunity to speak on behalf of the people they represent. And the Speaker shut that down as well. What we wanted to achieve today was a national conversation about something that is pressing and affects all of us. We were not given that opportunity on multiple occasions, on multiple asks, multiple requests. And the last straw was when the leader of the opposition tried to intercede with the Speaker to explain what was happening, made the submission, his mic was cut off by the Speaker. We felt that was a disrespect to the office of the leader of the opposition and to the people of Jamaica.
Ms. Burchell, Mrs. Holness says she's going by the standing orders, and it's not unusual to see her take a very hardline approach as it relates to what the standing orders laid down.
Yes, we have seen Mrs. Holness's interpretation of the standing order. We've seen how she interpreted it when it affected her husband, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, and therefore we know that interpretation goes based on persons' inclinations. Therefore, we're asking her to honor the customs that have guided the House and honor, first of all, what is expected of an impartial umpire. She's not at all being impartial in these early days in this parliamentary session.
But if she's interpreting the standing orders as laid down, which say questions to ministers should be that, questions and not lengthy statements, how then can you accuse her of not being impartial?
Who determines what is lengthy? As for us who are sitting in the House...
Well, certainly the Speaker has the discretion.
Well, right, and we are disagreeing with the fact that she won't even allow him to make the question. She was ruling the question out of order. I believe Southeast St. Mary, the person, Chris Brown, he mentioned landslides, for example, and that was referenced in Minister Samuda's speech. Yet she was saying that is out of order, that he can't bring up landslides because he's the climate change minister. Minister Samuda was the one in his speech who said he is a part of an administration that truly practices joined up government. He was speaking on behalf of Desmond McKenzie and other ministers. Therefore, accountability should also be joined up. That's what we tried to achieve today by asking that our members be allowed to put critical questions about where people will get food, where people can go in case they're flooded, where people can go for medicine, what are the emergency shelters. Those are reasonable questions, we believe, to put to a government on the eve of a natural disaster like Tropical Storm Melissa.
Ms. Birchall, you convened the media after the walkout. The way forward now, you say Philip Powell had written to the Speaker asking her to exercise greater discretion. What's the way forward now?
Well, the Speaker wouldn't even allow him to raise that on the floor today. She ruled him out of order as well. This to me...
Sorry, go ahead, Ms. Birchall.
This to me has left us with limited options. We are consulting as the opposition to see where we go from here. But what is clear is that the 28 members who've been sent by the people to represent them as the opposition in the House of Representatives will not be muzzled. We will ask the tough questions because they need to get to the people, and the people are depending on us to do just that. So we're going to have to find a way to go back to those talks that occurred, the Vale Royal talks, those talks that occurred behind the Speaker's desk, where there was mutual respect for parties and where we had an umpire who was impartial and sought to get to the business. You know what? Mrs. Holness said that the questions were taking too long, but we ended up not hearing the question, but hearing these long, lengthy speeches from her. She takes a lot of time when she intervenes in the discussion to make her point and to overemphasize her point. She started off today coming with new rules upon the old rules. The microphone system existed where you pressed a button, a green light came up. When she permitted you to speak, a red light would come. Now she said you must raise your hand before even pressing the mic if you need to speak. And if you catch her eye, she will acknowledge you. This is not primary school or basic school. We are adults representing the people who sent us there.
We have to leave it there. Nikisha Birchall, the Member of Parliament for South St. James. She's also the opposition spokesperson on information. Thank you so much for your time, Ms. Birchall. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
After the break, Tropical Storm Melissa, now 330
miles southeast of Moran Point.
We'll bring you the latest.
Protecting your personal data is a priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. We urge you to use the agency's official platforms to conduct your business. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
5:48.
One box, full belly. The Bird Shack Fried Chicken Flex Box has it all. Sandwich, wings, or chicken, wedges or fries, coleslaw plus a drink. Only $1,800. Best value in the streets. Flex Smart.
The temperature brought to you by Bird Shack Fried Chicken is
31 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 30 in the western city of Montego Bay.
Enough power tool, big to small. Chakama figure dig the wall.
Our total tools.
Weed waka figure trim the lawn. We have everything a job demand.
Total tools.
We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When you say home improvement, landscape construction, a Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option.
Total Tools, located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston.
And lot C6 Jacksaw, Sentence Bay. Call us today.
MSME operators, the NWC MSME Amnesty is a lifeline. Grab it. Apply between September 1 and November 30, 2025. Visit nwcjamaica.com. Email us at customercare@nwc.com.jm. You can also visit any commercial office or dial 888-NWC. Get a 50% debt write-off on your small commercial account if you pay all other outstanding debts or sign a payment agreement to do so in 3 months. Apply today.
Everybody needs a helping hand, somebody to understand. In the end, we're all human. For people living with HIV, no discrimination. Here to support them through. Respect you as usual. Got to protect them too. When your friend or your family, somebody in your community. People living with HIV. Protect, accept, and respect people living with HIV. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
10 minutes going up to 6 o'clock. We're going to switch gears now to the looming threat that is a tropical storm Melissa. Tropical storm watch is in effect for Jamaica after Melissa was formed in the Caribbean earlier today. Well, it is the 13th named storm to form in the Atlantic this year. According to the latest release from the Meteorological Service of Jamaica, the country could begin to experience storm-like conditions as early as Thursday. The principal director at the Met Service, Evan Thompson, says Melissa is moving slowly towards the eastern coast of Jamaica.
It is projected to move closer and closer toward the east coast of Jamaica, but the problem is that the system is moving extremely slowly. It is not expected to move out of the area until well into the weekend. So right throughout this week, it's going to be basically over the waters to the southeast of Jamaica.
That's Evan Thompson, the principal director at the Met Service. Well, we're now being joined by the Acting Director General of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM Richard Thompson, and the Manager of the Weather Services at the Met Service, Rohan Brown. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much. Is this Rohan?
Good afternoon to you and your listeners.
Thank you very much, Richard. Let me begin with you, Rohan Brown from the Met Service. What's the latest in terms of the status and position of Melissa?
All right, so currently Melissa is located around about 495 kilometers south of Port-au-Prince, Haiti, or about 535 kilometers, or as you said, 330 miles southeast of Moran Point in Jamaica. Now, there is a high-pressure system over the continental U.S. that is reaching into the Caribbean region, and as such, there is a projected decrease in the forward speed of Tropical Storm Melissa, and hence the system will linger in the Caribbean region for the next few days. And as such, we continue to watch and monitor the system as it moves in the Caribbean region. Now, you said that we could get tropical storm conditions by Thursday, and that will start primarily over the waters, over the Jamaican waters of our marine environment, and gradually move towards the land as we go into the weekend. But for the most part, the system, even though it is a large one, remains over the waters of the Central Caribbean, and is expected to linger over that region for the next couple of days.
And Ron Brown, that lingering, what will that mean for the amount of rainfall we should expect?
So what we are expecting is that as the system slowly moves to the Jamaican area, we will get rainfall, but most of the rainfall is to the east of the system now, and that will continue because of the wind flow. And therefore, the greater rainfall as you go into the weekend will occur to the northeast of the system and more likely over Port-au-Prince, over the Haiti region. However, in the Jamaica area, we will get a good amount of rainfall. There are some projections that are calling anywhere between 50 to 75 or 100 millimeters of rainfall over the Jamaica area. And just to add to it, we're currently having afternoon showers over the island, and therefore more rainfall, possible landslides and flooding, and therefore we have to pay close attention, especially to the system as it moves towards the island.
Well, for you, Richard Thompson, a lot of rain we can expect in the coming days, and more troublingly, it is moving slowly. That's not good news for us. How prepared are you at ODPEM?
Well, currently, Cliff, we are still on a planning meeting. Ron and myself were on. We just jump off to join you, so we can give some update to the general public. Yes, it's a concern in terms of slow-moving events. You always get intense, prolonged rainfall. There is always concern for flash flooding, landslides, rock slides in some areas like the gorge, which is a very troubled spot. Coastal flooding as well, and storm surge. So we, given that we have been tracking this system and monitoring it for a couple of days now, we have gone fully into our preparedness mode. And part of the preparedness activity is to have these operational planning meetings. Getting information from the parishes as to where they are in terms of their operational preparedness measures, what they are doing in terms of putting shelter managers on standby, putting the parish mechanism on standby, and also the same for the agencies that are member of the National Response Team. So we early doors, but we have started our planning operation. What we do every time we are facing any event, and try as best as possible to get the mechanism up to speed in terms of what are the requirements and what we need to do.
Are there any particular communities you'll be paying close attention to in the coming days?
Well, for the northwestern and northeastern parishes, there are always concerns. One of the main one that we are placing some emphasis on right now is the situation in Burger Gully. So we
that's in East Kingston.
That's in East Kingston. That's one of the areas which we have been seeing constant flooding for the past couple of weeks whenever time it rains because of a situation there with the gully. We did a visit today, a multidisciplinary team, to look at what we need to do just to see how best as possible we can alleviate that flooding problem there until the proper infrastructural work is done. So the main concern now is to ensure that we are doing what we have to do to protect the persons in the community. So we'll be doing some work. A part of it is sandbagging. So the National Works Agency is carrying out that task. We were there this morning with the Ministry of Local Government technical team, the JDF engineers, and the National Works Agency, and ourselves here at the ODPEM, just to get a sense of what the breaches are and how we are going to put in those sandbags tomorrow and going into Thursday. I keep forgetting that today is Tuesday and not Monday.
Yes.
And going into Thursday and into Friday.
Rohan Brown.
As the system get closer to us.
Rohan
and also for places like Audley Crossing and those areas that we normally have problems whenever there is rainfall activity and there is flooding. And we'll be running scenarios for the other communities that across the island, looking at the at-risk population. And so we can use those scenarios now to make more informed planning decisions.
Rohan Brown from the Weather Services, tell me, conditions where Melissa is located, are they still conducive to further strengthening or weakening or what?
All right, so as it is now, the system is encountering a little upper level share, and that share is causing the system not to develop as quickly. But as it moves out of that area come Thursday, it could move to the north, and there's now the possibility that it could become a hurricane by possibly Saturday. So that is also something we're looking at as well. But as it is now, it is in an area that is having a little share in the upper levels that is slightly weakening the system. But when it gets out of that share area and come round about Thursday and it moves towards the north, then going into the weekend, it could become a hurricane.
And in terms of its projected path, I heard earlier this afternoon Evan Thompson saying it's likely to take the route through the Windward Passage between Haiti and Jamaica. Is that still on?
That is correctly, but there's a bias for it turning towards the west or not to the east or northeast, and primarily going over Haiti. So that is also a concern for our friends in Haiti as well, because most of the models now are turning it towards Haiti. But the general consensus is for it to move through that passage. But again, there are some models that are taking it over Haiti during the next couple of days.
Okay. Thank you very much, Rohan Brown. And we're now into the mode where you're going to be giving us bulletins every 2-3 hours or what?
That is correct. Every 3 hours up to 11 p.m. at night and starting at 5 a.m. the next day.
Thank you very much. Rohan Brown is Manager, Weather Services at the Met Service, and Richard Thompson is the Director General at ODPEM. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you very much, Cliff. Always big thanks to Nationwide for always keeping the public up to date every time we are having these response type activities. So thanks to you as well.
You're welcome.
One last point, if I may.
Sure.
So somebody was calling to say if the rainfall this afternoon was associated with the tropical storm, and we told them no. So the rainfall occurring now is not related to the tropical storm, Melissa. Thank you.
Just to quickly say as well, Cliff, now is at the time for our population to prepare, to take this time to prepare going into the weekend.
Yes. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Good.
You're welcome.
What Richard Thompson doesn't know is that nothing excites you like severe weather.
Please.
He doesn't know that, but we here know that. We know that as soon as the sky darkens, you get excited.
No, he's not getting excited. It's a sense of duty and responsibility to all listeners.
And I think a little of it is that you taught geography. A little of it.
Yes, I did.
It's 2 minutes after 6. The headlines are next.
Public opinion.
Stop this foolish about this GLP and PMP business. We are Jamaican.
Different people.
It's not a matter of a JLP or a PMP. I think it's more like where it is that you think you're comfortable, what support you can afford to make the country better.
Different views.
Most entertainers, they're not amenable to management, so the only thing that can ultimately structure them is the court and the prison.
Public opinion. The voice of the people at 6:25 p.m. weekdays during Nationwide at 5. Tune into Nationwide at 6:25 p.m. for Public Opinion, where the people's views matter.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
It's the weekend and the youth are taking over the airwaves. Yes, we are the new voices and faces of the Talk Up You radio show. The voice of the Jamaican youth right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
After a busy week of work and school, come and wine with Jamaica's #1 youth radio show.
We're bringing you entertainment, fun facts, and staying true to youth development and advocacy.
Catch the action each and every Saturday as we roll out buzzy segments. What say you?
Youth for chat,
life skills,
global connect, and Bust the Youth.
That's the Talk Up Youth radio show, Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Talk Up Youth, Miss Effie.
Talk Up Youth. Don't miss it.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
4 minutes after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. Jamaica could begin to experience storm-like conditions as early as Thursday. That's according to the latest release from the Meteorological Service of Jamaica. A tropical storm watch remains in effect for the island. Principal Director Evan Thompson says the tropical storm Melissa is moving slowly towards the east coast of Jamaica.
It is projected to move closer and closer toward the east coast of Jamaica, but the problem is that the system is moving extremely slowly. It is not expected to move out of the area until well into the weekend. So right throughout this week, it's going to be basically over the waters to the southeast of Jamaica.
The Met Office says once the system is in the vicinity of Jamaica, it's expected to produce heavy rainfall and strong gusty winds. This will mainly affect northeastern and southern parishes. But Mr. Thompson says most of the rain is predicted to remain over Haiti.
What is forecast is that it will creep toward that channel, the Windward Passage, that is between Jamaica and Haiti, and then likely move toward the north. But even that is not very clear because there is some disparity with respect to the models that are projecting the direction of movement. However, originally we had said it would bring significant rainfall to Jamaica over the next few days. Because of where it is now projected to go, that chance is reduced somewhat in that most of the rainfall seems to be occurring to the right side of the center, which means that when it is close to Jamaica, most of the rain is likely to be over toward Haiti at that time.
Evan Thompson, Principal Director at the Met Office. Environment and Climate Change Minister Matthew Samuda is urging Jamaicans to remain vigilant as Tropical Storm Melissa draws closer to the island. At 4 p.m., the system was located 305 miles south of Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Addressing the House of Representatives on Tuesday, Minister Samuda says the storm is being closely monitored.
Melissa's formation is a sobering reminder that this year's Atlantic hurricane season will not be ending quietly. As of this morning, reports from the National Hurricane Center, Division of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in the USA, which tracks and predicts tropical cyclones, indicated that the storm is churning approximately 480 kilometers, which is approximately 300 miles south of Port-au-Prince, Haiti, or 630 kilometers southeast of Morant Point. We are now expecting to start experiencing heavy rains sometime tomorrow night at current projections. But to note that the situation is indeed fluid and the Hurricane Center and our own Met Service is indeed monitoring closely.
Current projections suggest Tropical Storm Melissa could intensify into a Category 1 hurricane by Saturday. The minister says its proximity to Jamaica demands caution and heightened alertness. He says the country's disaster response apparatus is on standby and ready to respond.
Our emergency management teams under the coordination of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, are on full alert. Importantly, I want to assure you that your government is working tirelessly to ensure that the systems we have developed to protect you are indeed activated. The Met Service of Jamaica, for which I have portfolio responsibility, continues to monitor the storm's movement closely and will provide continuous updates as new data becomes available. In this respect, disaster coordinators are on alert to assist potentially vulnerable persons in our communities across the island. Additionally, the island-wide network of 881 shelters will be made available as the need arises, and the shelter managers are already on alert and preparing the designated spaces. Later today,
Matthew Samuda, Environment and Climate Change Minister. Meanwhile, opposition spokesperson on the environment, Omar Newell, criticized the government's preparedness for the impending storm. Mr. Newell, who represents Central St. Mary, says no attempt has been made to brief members of parliament on the preparation work being done for the storm.
Events of this nature, we believe, are things we can prepare for. We know that one of the results of climate change has been more adverse weather conditions. And as a new member of this House, I find it unfortunate that I have not been a part of any briefing to advise me on what preparatory steps have been taken to get us ready during this disaster period. I'm told, Madam Speaker, that sometime in the summer, Madam Speaker, I'm told that sometime in the summer, some funds would have been provided for drain cleaning. I imagine a lot of those drains have now blocked up and a lot of those verges have experienced overgrowth.
Newell says citizens in some low-lying communities will go to bed uneasy tonight. He says it's clear that an opportunity to adequately prepare for the possible weather event was missed by the government. He also faulted the administration for not announcing emergency drain cleaning measures ahead of the storm. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. Sport is next.
Is your money idling when it could be thriving? With CIBC Caribbean's fixed deposit offering, you can take charge of your cash. With 50,000 Jamaican to start, choose terms from 30 days to 2 years. Lock in your funds and enjoy premium rates guaranteed to grow your wealth. Whether you're eyeing short or long-term gains, our fixed deposit account puts you firmly in control of your money. Now is the time to open a CIBC fixed deposit account and start earning more today. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Doritos and KFC, cheesy, delicious, crunchy, new collaboration, run the country. Doritos Zinger, hot and spicy. Doritos nacho cheese chips, cheddar cheese sauce. We not leave it. KFC with the extra crunch. The new Doritos Zinger, I want for lunch. The new KFC Doritos Zinger, the delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy zinger and the irresistible flavor of Doritos. Available for a limited time. KFC and Doritos, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. The 2026 Wonder Diamond League season, the 17th edition, will have its customary start in Asia with the Doha meeting in Qatar on Friday, May 8th. Following another record-breaking year in 2025, many of the sport's biggest names will be hoping to make history once again when Athletics' premier one-day series returns. As in previous years, athletes will compete for points at 14 meetings as they bid to qualify for the series final in Brussels and a shot at the iconic Diamond Trophy. The African leg of the series will take place in Rabat, that's in Morocco, on May 31, before the first European meeting of the season in the Italian capital, Rome, the following week. After stops in Stockholm, Lausanne, and Oslo, as well as Paris, the athletes will head to Eugene on the U.S. West Coast for a meeting which has seen some 5 world records in the past 3 seasons alone. The series then returns to Europe for meetings in Monaco and London before the road to the final enters the home straight in August. Lausanne, Silesia, and Zurich will be the last stops before athletes assemble in Brussels for the Wonder Diamond League final September 4 and 5. The series will take place on 4 different continents. Jamaica's under-17 Reggae Boys will join Group G with the CONCACAF FIFA under-17 World Cup qualifiers come next February. The young Reggae Boys will face the likes of Canada, Aruba, and the Cayman Islands, with the group winners qualifying directly to the FIFA under-17 World Cup to be played in Qatar in November of 2026. The tournament is scheduled to run from February 3 to 12, 2026, with matches to be played in 6 countries: Honduras, Vincent and the Grenadines, Panama, Trinidad and Tobago, Costa Rica, and Guatemala. The Jamaica team just missed qualifying for the 2025 World Cup, where they conceded a late goal in a World Cup qualifier against El Salvador, and the game was played in Guatemala in February of this year. Former national player Angus Eve has resigned from his post as head coach of Trinidad and Tobago's national women's football team 51 days after he was appointed. Eve is said to have sent a resignation letter to the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association Director of Women's Football, Janelle James, on October 19. Eve was set to take charge of his first game on October 28, an international friendly against Jamaica to be played at the Atabolden Stadium in Couva. The TTFA was without a head coach for over a year prior to Eve's appointment and that came on September 30. However, with this latest development, the women's team looks set to endure another spell without a permanent head coach unless the TTFA names a replacement in short order. World Football of the Year, Ousmane Dembele, was amongst the scorers on Tuesday as champions Paris Saint-Germain crushed Bayer Leverkusen of Germany 7-2 in a European Champions League game at the Bayer Arena in Germany on Tuesday. However, it was last season's Young Player of the Year, Desiree Doué, who was a starman for the Parisians with a double strike to keep the Parisians top of the standings with a perfect 3 from 3.
Doué, Kvaratskhelia, back with Desiree Doué! And PSG are back with the lead. All played through by Arthur, but there's no way through to a teammate. Look at the room now that PSG have. Hakimi's going into the box. He wasn't needed. It's 4-1. It's a quite wonderful strike from Desiree Doué. He's got his second of the half. He's got his second in a matter of 7 minutes.
Full-blown French international Desiree Doué. Also making it 3 from 3 were the English Premier League leaders Arsenal. They brushed aside Atletico Madrid by 4-0 at the Emirates Stadium in London. A double coming from the Swedish international Victor Gyökeres. Manchester City tagged Villarreal 2-0 in Spain. Goals coming from Erling Haaland and Bernardo Silva. Newcastle stopped Benfica 3-0 at St James's Park. Fermi Lopez bagged a hat-trick in FC Barcelona's 6-1 hammering of Olympiacos. Lamine Yamal made a scoring return to the Catalan club. South Africa beat Pakistan by 150 runs under the Duckworth-Lewis method in the rain-affected Women's ICC World Cup game in Colombo on Tuesday. It was South Africa's 5th straight win at the tournament, while Pakistan became the second team behind Bangladesh to be eliminated. The weather has affected play in the encounters, in quite a number of encounters, but Captain Laura Woodvalve powered the Proteas to their highest World Cup total, that of 312 for 9 in a game reduced to 40 overs aside. Wolfhard made 90 and shared in a second wicket stand of 118 with Shune Lush. Mariana Kapp, she made 68 not out and got support from Nadine de Klerk, who crashed 41 from just 16 delivers. Pakistan were then asked to get 234, but they struggled to 83 for 7 when the game was called off because of more rain. Cap ended with 3 for 20. The tournament continues on Wednesday morning Jamaica time, starting at 4:30. There's a clash of unbeaten teams, Australia against England. That should be some game. And the West Indies captain Shai Hope, well, he says the team showed great belief, as they held their nerve to beat Bangladesh in a thrilling super over in Dhaka on Tuesday to level their 3-match one-day international series. The scores were tied up at 213 after both teams batted out their 50 overs. The Windies then made 10 runs from their super over, but Akil Hussain produced the goods despite having 1 no ball and 2 wides as the West Indies defended the total. The West Indies bowled spin for 50 overs, all 50 overs of the Bangladesh innings, the first time ever in one-day internationals that was happening. Hope slammed the man of the match, unbeaten 53 in the West Indies chase of 214 to win the game. Hope was naturally happy the team was able to get over the line eventually.
We thought that if we could have restricted them for, let's say, 160, 170 or so, it would have made batting a lot easier. But yeah, things like that happen, guys play very well in the back end, so that's how cricket goes sometimes. But yeah, we were just happy to get this one. We fought really hard with the bat. It was very tough going once again. But I think the wicket played slightly better than the first one. But yeah, like I said before, I'm very proud of the guys and great to see us level this series.
The third and final game is set for Thursday, and it's set to bowl off at 2:30 a.m. Jamaica time. And Hope is hoping that today's victory over the Bangladeshis will serve as a morale booster going into that game on Thursday.
Hopefully we can learn from this game, especially in the batting innings, and try to take those learnings into the next one.
Shai Hope, captain of the West Indies white ball team. The new NBA season gets going on Tuesday with 2 games. Defending champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder, will open their defense at home. They're taking on the Houston Rockets in the early game. That game is set to tip off in just about 12 minutes from now. And then the late game tonight in America's West Coast, the Oklahoma-Houston game is also on the West Coast, but the other game on the West Coast tonight, a major one, Los Angeles Lakers against the Golden State Warriors. This game will be played at the Crypto.com arena. And finally, in sports at the Stamp, the Detroit Lions stifled the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of offense and won to a commanding 24-9 victory in the NFL on Sunday. The Lions running back Jamie Gibbs picked up 136 yards, inclusive of 2 touchdowns, as his team racked up their 3rd straight home victory and ended the Buccaneers' 3-game win streak.
Glad I'm not a DB. Right up the gut, there goes Gibbs. Foot race. Winfield can't get there. Touchdown Lions. What a game he's putting together.
And the Buccaneers suffered a double blow as veteran wide receiver Mike Evans could miss the remainder of the season. He suffered a broken collarbone. That's sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:20.
Doritos and KFC, cheesy delicious, crunchy, new collaboration run the country. Doritos Zinger, hot and spicy. Doritos nacho cheese chips, cheddar cheese sauce. We not leave it. KFC with the extra crunch. The new Doritos Zinger, I want for lunch. The new KFC Doritos Zinger, the delicious combination of KFC's hot and spicy zinger and the irresistible flavor of Doritos. Available for a limited time. KFC and Doritos, a crunch that's finger-licking good.
Give your team a glow up at the 2025 Business and Personal Etiquette Conference on November 6th at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Procure the presence, polish, and professionalism to make your team unforgettable. Hosted by Make Your Mark Consultants in partnership with Caledonia Outdoor Advertising, Visual Tech Solutions, Nationwide 90 FM, Main Event, and more. Register now at makeyourmarkgroup.com or call 876-978-6001 for the Business and Personal Etiquette Conference.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Stay ahead of the curve with our cutting-edge reporting and accurate breaking news coverage.
We're having an earthquake. Oh, God.
Hear it here first on Nationwide 90 FM. Tune in, turn up the volume, and listen. We bring a mix of news, entertainment, and sports to your lives.
Nationwide 90 FM's live and continuous coverage of the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary.
News and discussions week mornings.
Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning.
Entertainment in the afternoons, then news again in the evenings.
Nationwide news at this hour, fired.
Also, tune in to the entertainment and sports shows in the nights and on the weekends.
It is Boy Things After Dark right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Everything is news, from current affairs and entertainment to sports, business, and other categories.
Nationwide 90 FM. This is Beanie Man. Give it to them. Zaga, Zen.
From every whisper to every commotion.
That's rubbish. The KSAMC cannot investigate itself.
Every news story unfolds here first at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. A special one to our friends over there on our YouTube platform. Thank you so much for tuning in, coming to you live from Ocean Boulevard. I don't know about you, but I feel nice. I feel wonderful. Apart from what's been happening outside, Jamaica could begin to experience storm-like conditions as early as Thursday. That's according to the latest release from the Met Service. A tropical storm watch remains in effect for the island. Principal Director Evan Thompson says Tropical Storm Melissa is moving slowly towards the east coast of Jamaica. Now, I don't know about you, but I want to know if you're preparing. I know about me, but I want to know if you're preparing. How are you finding this? Are you going to the supermarket? What are you doing? Let's find out. On Facebook, Philip Jackson is saying, tell that girl Melissa Jamaica is waiting to give her a reggae hug for closing Jamaica. Would you look at that? Patricia O'Connor is saying, I'm always ready with supplies and a plan, but I worry about those who aren't prepared. Hopefully this storm passes quickly. Tanisha Dwyer saying, I haven't started any preparation yet because school is still in session. No decision has been made yet on how tomorrow will go. I'm right there with you because I haven't heard anything from the powers that be regarding school. Yeah. Donovan Smith is saying, on the alert, not overdoing it, but ready to get the essentials if the forecast changes. Christopher Isaac saying, US in foreign can do very little, but hope... Oh, he's saying us in foreign can do very little, but hope this too shall pass. Hopefully everyone will vacate areas that are perpetually being flooded whenever it rains heavily. Stay off the roads if you can. Guys, I saw a video of a Ford truck, or van as you may call it, going through heavy waters, the road inundated with flood waters, and I saw that vehicle just going through it, and I'm like, oh my god, I need a vehicle like that. Alex Smith is saying, if we prepare for the rail storm in Jamaica, oh god, him gone PNP now, gone politics. Wow. All right. If you're just joining us, we're inside the Court of Public Opinion. We're asking, are you preparing for Tropical Storm Melissa? What is it that you're doing? Tweet is saying, government need for send the pay early this week so we can prepare. I totally agree with you. For those of you who are listening, who have the powers to pay the people them early, pay us so we can go and prepare. Stacy C is saying, I'm always prepared, regular weekly shopping. If the shelves are usually replenished in a few days, why overspend? Okay, Javon Ramden saying, yes, I'm prepared, but I'm praying that it doesn't enter our island. Too much damage will be done. You and the whole entire country. Gio is saying, Jamaica not getting any storm, only heavy rain. Well, it never hurts to prepare. You have to be prepared. One says if you're not prepared, then you're prepared to fail. One Empress is saying, drinking water check, crackers check, the bully beef check, cash check, all newspaper check, garbage bags, solar powered transitor radio. All right, One Empress, it look like you're ready. You're ready and waiting. Esja is saying, I'm getting some food stuff and doing some things around the house. As you should. The question we're asking, are you preparing for Tropical Storm Melissa? As it stands, we could begin to experience storm-like conditions as early as Thursday. That's according to the Met Office. A tropical storm watch remains in effect for the island. What is it that you're doing? Let us see. Mercedes Morgan on YouTube saying, I am preparing with God's help. Orinthia Campbell saying to us that she always have kerosene oil in our lamp. A long time I don't see a lamp like, those real lamp with the shade and everything. Yeah. Let's see. We hope for the best. But Team JLP is prepared for the worst. Contingency plan, says Reasonable Thinker. All right. View says, all newspaper brings back memories. I wonder what kind of memories. Faith Fabulous says, just need some kerosene oil and a lamp. Okay. Political analyst, I hear you telling us to speak to a certain person so we can get the pay early. I'll put in a good word. Josephine says, I'm always prepared. That's great. That's amazing. Frank White is saying, I'm preparing my mind, body, and soul and spirit. Okay. All right. Well, we hope and pray that we're not getting a whole heap. We're not getting a whole heap of breeze. I'm always worried about that because, I don't want the little light for chip out. Yeah. I don't want a little light chip out. I'm tired Just thinking of it. Chinbella says she's tired just thinking of it. Well, guys, prepare. It never hurts to be prepared. Greetings, Ashoy Powell. Chinbella says, I'm ready for the space. I will tell you, very, very ready. Yes, I am. I am making some bottle lamp, says David Nebar. Bottle lamp. How you do that now, David? Please tell me. Faith Fabulous, I'm always prepared. View says, Lord Rob, you look rich. You look rich, my love. That nice, eh? That's nice. I feel rich. It's the environment. It's the whole space. Let me see if I can get in a few more. Are you prepared? What is it that you're doing? Rochi, I see you. Blessings to you, Wilbert. Denzel, thank you so much. Thank you. Just talking to JPS Flow and Digicel, says Carlene Smith. Yeah, man. Let me see. Reggae Matic says KFC promotion. Wow, okay. You're talking about drive-through and things. Sharon Bless is saying that JPS is a joker. I don't know. Let me see if I can get in a few more here. You must always have emergency supplies and secure your important documents. For those of you who have the bird paper under the bed, ensure say it in a one little sealed plastic bag or something. So that's if anything, you can make a run for it. The passport, all those important documents. Yeah, get them ready just in case. You never can tell. Any card can play, right? Any card can play. Everton is saying you can help me by coming to Clarendon for the storm. Wow, Everton Powell, you make me run up another one day. I did not prepare for that one any at all. But I see you. Platinum say I only want a tin of mackerel in my cupboard. Talk truth, but you don't want a corned beef. Oh, that sound. No corned beef? Praying and hoping for the best for our beautiful country. That's according to C. Hilton. Barbara Ellington is saying she's always prepared. We'll only set some water for ice this time. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Gertrude, blessings to you. Greetings, Kirk Buchanan. Roby can tell, say your granny you grow with. Also, today is my grandmother's birthday. So a happy birthday to my grandmother. Wherever you are, a happy one. She's enjoying herself. I've been getting the videos, the pictures, and they're saying they're in another part of Jamaica. Where am I? And me have just a wonder. Oshoy, thank you so much telling me to stay safe. For those of you who are out there, remain safe. If you're traveling, I want to see the whole heap of water upon the road. I ask of you, please do not go through it. Uno don't bother brave no water. Uno don't bother try cross it. Okay? Don't try to cross it. Who am I saying? Who am I? I see your message. I can't read it on the air though. I closed my eyes and bought in bulk. I have to run up and down, says Aishan Khan. Great minds think alike. Coming from Kirk, responding to Roti. Some people well prepared went to the supermarket and bread and biscuit shelves empty, says Claude West. Yeah. Well, me get the chance now to wow, Fitzroy Barrett. If I did ever say that one, you get the chance now to try and make babies. I don't know what you're talking about, Fitzroy, but I leave you to it, and all the best with that one. Platinum says Jamaican really not a real place. We take nothing serious. And you know, we really and truly don't take nothing serious, because we hearing all this information to stay off the roads, don't go into flooded areas. If you live in flood prone areas, evacuate before it's too late. And we still wait till last minute. All I can do is pray because I'm not home, says Sophia Nemhard. Glenn saying to us, I hope JPS make better preparations than what they did for Beryl and Raphael. The millions they gave to, wow. Okay, Glenn. I can't say that part of it because, you know, allegations. Thank you guys so much for the birthday wishes for my grandma. That's all the time we have for Public Opinion from our new location, Ocean Boulevard. The business report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:34. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Two of Jamaica's leading financial institutions, Sagicor Bank, Jamaica, and the National Commercial Bank, NCB, have announced adjustments to their withdrawal fees and transaction limits. Now, these changes will affect customers' access to cash at automated banking machines, ABMs. Sagicor Bank says that effective October 1, 2025, its per-transaction multi-link withdrawal limit was reduced from 100,000 Jamaican dollars to 50,000 Jamaican dollars. The bank also confirmed that beginning October 20, 2025, the multi-link withdrawal fee for transactions conducted at other local banks' ABMs will increase from $59.23 to $61.53 inclusive of GCT. Meanwhile, NCB has announced a new fee structure for cash withdrawals, which will take effect on December 1, 2025. Now, under the revised structure, withdrawals of over 100,000 Jamaican dollars will attract a fee of $379.50. Seniors aged 55 and over will be exempted. Withdrawals up to $100,000 will attract a $750 fee. Further afield, the BBC is reporting that Walmart will pause hiring candidates who require H-1B visas. This comes in response to the Trump administration's new $100,000 fee that has roiled U.S. employers. Now, U.S. President Donald Trump last month signed an executive order imposing the fee for H-1B applicants, citing abuse of the program for skilled foreign workers that undercuts the American workforce. And finally, in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 161 Jamaican dollars and 9 cents to buy $1 US, 218 Jamaican dollars and 48 cents to buy the British pound, and 116 Jamaican dollars and 41 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
Already have a T-Tag for your vehicle? Just top it up and go through. Now you can see funds in your T-Tag account almost immediately after topping up. So if you're already on your journey, you can safely pull off the road and top up using the My T-Tag app or WhatsApp, or ask your passenger to do it for you. And within 5 to 10 minutes, you can enjoy the lower toll rates and other benefits of the T-Tag lane. Even if you forget to top up before you started your trip, top up your T-Tag and continue to go through quicker and cheaper on Transjam highways.
Every school is free of unhealthy, ultra-processed products. You know, those high in salt, fats, and sugar. If only that weren't a dream. The reality is that many children have an unhealthy diet at school, and 23% of them are overweight or obese. This can lead to hypertension, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes. Let's protect our children's right to health with a policy for schools that prevents unhealthy food marketing and ensures access to nutritious foods. The time is now. Let's implement the National School Nutrition Policy. A message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica and partners.
Give your team a glow up at the 2025 Business and Personal Etiquette Conference on November 6 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Procure the presence, polish, and professionalism to make your team unforgettable. Hosted by Make Your Mark Consultants in partnership with Caledonia Outdoor Advertising, Visual Tech Solutions, Nationwide 90 FM, Main Event, and more. Register now at makeyourmarkgroup.com or call 876-978-6001 for the Business and Personal Etiquette Conference.
Since 1995, we've been your go-to source for everything related to billiards, amusement machines, and electronics. With locations at 1A Lindsay Terrace, Kingston 10, and the Village Plaza, Big Bridge, Savannah, Lamar, we offer top-quality pool table parts and accessories, cutting-edge gaming machines, and more. We also specialize in assembly, sales, and service of amusement machines. We provide unmatched customer service, expert solutions, and products tailored to your needs. Who are we? We are Eclipse Enterprise. Telephone 876-960-3891.
MSME operators, the NWC MSME Amnesty is a lifeline. Grab it. Apply between September 1 and November 30, 2025. Visit nwcjamaica.com. Email us at customercare@nwc.com.jm. You can also visit any commercial office or dial 888-NWC. Get a 50% debt write-off on your small commercial account if you pay all other outstanding debts or sign a payment agreement to do so in 3 months. Apply today.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Marlon Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we're all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
It's Monday, get over your blues. Or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The E-Zone is here for you. With the Stinger Honeybee
and Curry Boyatings
from 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
We've got your entertainment news.
Then we want to hear your views. Why you said?
Jump in the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss our brain busters.
Or the crazy giveaways.
Let's talk fashion.
Send us your outfit of the day. Ooh, cutesy. Very demure.
Are you looking for love?
Come on one of our blind dates. Send your request to ezone blinddates@gmail.com. That's ezoneblindates@gmail.com.
And stay tuned for your confessions.
These are my confessions. Share them with us at ezoneconfessions@yahoo.com. I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bugger thing.
Ow! Ow!
On Friday, October 24, tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. when LASCO, in partnership with the Jamaica Constabulary Force, proudly announces the Super 6 finalists for the 2025 Saluting Our Heroes Police of the Year Awards. Meet the Super 6, Jamaica's finest. Constable Monique Bartley, Corporal Stephen Smith, Corporal Rojen Holt, Detective Corporal Chadwick Williams, Constable Chantal Powell, and Detective Corporal Livy Evans. Finalists for the prestigious 2025 LASCO JCF Saluting Our Heroes Police of the Year Award. Tune into Cliff Views Online as we highlight and celebrate the outstanding service, leadership, and community impact of the Super 6. So tune into Cliff Views Online Friday, October 24 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Super 6 finalists for the 2025 Saluting Our Heroes Police of the Year Awards. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Lasco Chin Foundation and the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
As a parent, you give your children a good start in life. You nurture, protect, and guide them. Parenting is a process that prepares your child for independence. As your child grows and develops, there are many things you can do to help your child. Stay tuned to The Big Show, Nationwide This Morning, for parenting tips. Fridays at 6:53 a.m. Only here will you learn everything you need to know about parenting. Tips to help parents navigate the incredibly challenging and rewarding journey of child rearing. Parenting tips on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Everything loud and wicked every Saturday 3 to 5 p.m. with Outside with Pepita. Loan vibes, loan laughs, and loan entertainment. Come on the road with we. Cause when we say Outside with Pepita, we're there all over Jamaica. Anyway, check them out. We're there. We're in on the business. Stay tuned in for prizes, surprises, giveaways, guest artists, and enough more. But hold on there. We forget to big up my DJ. DJ Jerome, the shell boss, I'm gonna make it bust to pew pew with the maddest, baddest, and latest tunes. So look out for Outside with Pepita. We might be coming to a town near you. You heard it here first. Outside with Pepita, Saturdays 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. The new revolution in media. Jamaica, lock it in and don't miss a thing.
Good evening to you. Thank you so much for staying with us. And if you're just joining us, hello to you. This is Nationwide at 5. It's time for the nation's business. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Cliff Hughes.
And we're continuing with our storm watch. A tropical storm watch is in effect for Jamaica after Tropical Storm Melissa formed to the south of the island. Now, the latest update issued by the Miami-based National Hurricane Center says that Melissa is the 13th named storm to form in the Atlantic this year.
Well, in an update this afternoon, the Met Service advised that tropical storm conditions could pose a possible threat to Jamaica within 48 hours. This as Melissa moves over the Caribbean Sea south of Hispaniola. The Met Service noted that satellite, radar, and surface observations suggest that the area of low pressure over the central Caribbean Sea is developing a well-defined center and is already producing winds of up to 72 kilometers per hour.
When the system comes in the vicinity of Jamaica, it is expected to produce heavy rainfall and strong gusty winds, now possibly reaching tropical storm force, primarily over northeastern and southern parishes. This will happen late Wednesday and Thursday. The Met Service says the rain could continue into the weekend.
In the meantime, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, is advising residents of low-lying and flood-prone areas to take the following precautions. Decide early on evacuation routes and be ready to evacuate if flooding occurs.
You should also avoid flooded waterways such as fords, gullies, streams, or rivers, either on foot or in vehicle.
Ensure all important documents are secured in plastic bags or waterproof containers.
Turn off electrical power, gas, and water supplies in areas that are in immediate danger of flooding.
Avoid areas with damaged roads.
Avoid areas prone to landslide and flooding. Joining us now to discuss further, the chairman of the St. James Municipal Corporation, Montego Bay's Mayor, Richard Vernon, the Member of Parliament for East Kingston and Port Royal, Philip Paulwell, and the Minister of Labour and Social Security, Pernell Charles Jr. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening to all.
MP Philip Paulwell, let me start with you. The ODPEM says Burger Gully in your constituency is a point of concern for them. What's the latest you can tell us about the state of the gully?
Well, it's in a precarious position for just about a year now, and arising from damage done last year with the passage of Beryl. A section of the gully wall has been eroding and is now fully eroded, and a part of the flooring. The government has indicated their willingness to do the repairs, just that it can't be done just now. I have been in touch with both Ministers Mackenzie and Morgan over the last 24 hours, and a team did go inside there today, because what we're trying to do is to get some sandbags to do some packing of that area of the gully wall that has been eroded, and also to put in place our shelters early in the event that people will have to move into these shelters, to make sure they're properly equipped. So we're being very proactive, and we are speaking directly to the community.
And for those who don't know, how densely populated are the areas around the gully?
Well, I tell you, we have in that community, there are about 3 different addresses on Mountain View Avenue, and it's about 500-600 people in a very small enclave, many of them along the gully bank. So it's quite a number of persons there that would be affected.
Yeah, Cliff?
And the Minister of Social Security, Pernell Charles, you are the Member of Parliament for a vulnerable part of the southern part of the island, southeast Clarendon. How are your preparations going?
So similarly, we have been in touch with the relevant authorities. Luckily, we had some drain cleaning that had started within the last 4 to 6 weeks, but much more will be needed. For now, the focus is on ensuring everyone is informed, alert, and aware of what to do if by chance this happens to develop into a hurricane that has any impact. We're living in an area that is, they're very aware because of the history of the low-lying areas and significant flooding that we have had to treat with over the several years. So people generally know what to do. The goal is really just to get them to be informed and to activate all the systems with the parish council, the NWA, and the teams across the communities.
Rocky Point, yes? How are things in Rocky Point at this point in the season? That's also very, very flood prone.
Always difficult. Rocky Point, Portland Cottage, Longwood, Mitchelltown, coming straight up into Lioneltown. Actually, we have an area in New Boynes, which also has a significant, risk. So we will always feel the brunt of it because of how low-lying we are, and in some parts under sea level. And so we watch to see exactly how this develops. If needed, persons will have to evacuate. But for now, we take the precautions by ensuring that we try to keep the drains as clean as possible. And as we get closer to it, we do the necessary things in terms of the stocking and identifying of the shelters, and just ensuring that those persons that are most vulnerable, meaning the elderly, persons with disabilities, persons who are living alone and need support, they are identified and that they are moved as quickly as possible.
Mayor Vernon, you've been quoted in the media saying that you're seeking a long-term solution to the flooding problem in Montego Bay. Obviously, that won't come through in time if this system affects us. What are the contingencies?
Thank you. Well, as a coastal city, this is the drill for us annually. The drain is a drain, and we know what it can hold in terms of its capacity. Therefore, we continue to plan around those. But in terms of our preparation, we have completed our shelter inspection that was earlier this year in June. which was followed by training of our shelter managers. We also alerted our contractors and our suppliers, and we have done replenishing of our stock to ensure that we have enough food supplies and all of that, just in case we have a worsened weather system. Drain cleaning was done last week, and leading up to the weekend, we cleaned the two major gullies, north and south gullies, and the critical drains were also done. We allocated the funding from our parochial revenue fund to deal with the drain cleaning for the rest of the parish, to deal with inlets, outlets of critical drains right across the municipality. We also reach out to our key partners and stakeholders when we're dealing with disaster management, put them on alert just in case we have to activate our emergency operations center. And of course, we have our infirmary to look after and our members there. We have contingencies in place just in case we have to relocate them. And we have our station ready for the tourists at the convention center and Jared Park for persons with lived experience of homelessness. So we are in a state of readiness, and if it is that we have to deal with a situation pertaining to what's the name of the hurricane, the weather system?
Tropical Storm Melissa.
Then, right. Oh, Tropical Storm Melissa, right. Then we will have to activate all the necessary contingencies to deal with the matter.
MP Paul, Port Royal has also in the past been a trouble spot. What's the situation like over there now?
Well, I should also mention, even before we get to Port Royal, there's the Harbour Drive situation, which has been signaled to the Parliament for the last 4 years. Major drainage problem over there, and we're still hoping that eventually final repairs can be done. But in relation to Port Royal, our problem has always been the difficulty in getting our people to move out early enough to get into shelters. Port Royal is low-lying, so it is subject to significant flooding. We pray a lot about Port Royal because we know that many of our people are just not leaving over there. But, we are going to make sure that the centers are going to be in place, and transportation to have people move to these centers once we can get them to go.
Are there any centers or shelter in Port Royal?
No, because the entire area
exactly
is low-lying.
Yeah.
You can't have shelters there, so we have had to move people out. The arena sometimes, Windward Road, primary school. So yes, it is some distance from their homes. So that's why people have been very, very reticent in leaving. But, based on what I'm hearing, that this could develop into a Category 1 or 2 hurricane. I think that has to be an ultimate consideration to get people out of harm's way.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of the timing now, because ODPEM has said that, listen, now is the time to start planning to move. Yes? We can't wait until Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, when to get out. It's going to be even more treacherous to get out. Yes? What you as politicians, you have to depend on your network, Minister Charles Paulwell and Mayor Vernon, to really convince people to move. But how effective has that proven over the years, Colonel Charles Jr.?
Sorry, I got cut off a while ago. My Wi-Fi.
Oh, so let me put that question to Paulwell. Mr. Paulwell, how effective has that been over the years to convince people that, listen, you got to go?
Yes, the response, the effectiveness has been moderate. Certainly for Burger Gully, we found people, because they know they've experienced firsthand significant flooding, they are more likely to move early. We have had many challenges over the years with my friends in Port Royal. That's been very, very difficult. Minister Mackenzie, 1 year preceded my going out there, and even with my going, people are just not willing to leave their homes.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get a better response this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the communities on the banks of the Burger Gully, these are formal communities, MP Paula?
These are communities that have been there long before Cliff and I were born. But, I heard recently from the government about a plan which I'm taking seriously because I don't like every time the rain falls, my head hurts because of Burgum. And we have to find a permanent solution. And we're looking at that. We have to engage the community very shortly on this plan, where we're looking at another area where persons can be relocated.
But there's also a political dimension to that kind of relocation, isn't there, MP?
Well, thank God it's going to be in the same constituency.
And you say thank God because that secures your votes.
Well, the people don't want to leave me. They don't want to leave me.
I see.
Thank God for that.
I see. Mayor Vernon, how about you? In terms of getting people in Montego Bay to move, what's been the success rate?
It's not that successful. It's difficult. And even without the bulletins, on a regular day, if we have heavy downpour, it faces a serious risk. And I'm referring now to the communities along the Gully Embankment, coming from Canterbury down to Albion Lane and William Street. And we had a really bad experience in 2017. And at that time, they wanted to move immediately after, but a few weeks later, they wanted to carry on as usual. I mean, they have built an entire life, an entire culture around this area, so asking them to relocate permanently,
yes,
it is going to take some doing. But in terms of evacuation, they are willing to evacuate, and we have shelters very close by that they can access.
Hello?
Yes, Colonel Charles Jr.
Sorry. I've been going in and out, so forgive me. But I just wanted to say quickly before we end that the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, we are the agency that is really leading in terms of welfare coordination. And I want to assure the country that we are mobilized. We are working across government with ADPEM and the other relevant authorities. And in our ministry, we have initiated the process of activating all of our parish offices, social workers, ensuring that we have the necessary equipment and the resources to be able to provide the support as needed, particularly to the most vulnerable households. So I want people to be assured that even though we hope this does not develop into something that becomes much more challenging for the country, that if it does, the ministry has started to prepare, and we will be ready to get our network across the country of support from Westmoreland straight to St. Thomas.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Colonel Charles Jr., the Minister of Labour and Social Security. Philip Paulwell is the Member of Parliament for East Kingston and Port Royal. And Richard Vernon is the Mayor of Montego Bay, the Chairman of the St. James Municipal Corporation. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks. All the best.
Good. After the break, what's happening in Trinidad and Tobago, where the Prime Minister and her administration have broken with CARICOM over the U.S. airstrikes in Caribbean waters. We'll be joined by a senior reporter at CNC3 News in the Twin Island Republic.
She's willing to give up, it seems, a UN Security Council seat in standing by her position.
What has she been promised?
The Pink Run, a corporate wellness challenge, encourages physical activity, healthy eating, and age-appropriate health checks. Remember, early detection saves lives. The time by the Ministry of Health and Wellness is...
It's 2 minutes after 7.
How certain are you that you're taking proper care of your pets? How often do you take them to the vet? Just as we need annual checkups with our doctors, most pets need regular checkups too. Owning and caring for a family pet doesn't have to be a difficult or burdensome experience. Nationwide 90 FM has an exciting feature called Pets World that will help you take better care of your pets. Join Nationwide 90 FM every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning as we take you into the do's and don'ts of caring for your pets. That's Pets World every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis, weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
On Friday, October 24, tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. when LASCO, in partnership with the Jamaica Constabulary Force, proudly announces the Super 6 finalists for the 2025 Saluting Our Heroes Police of the Year Awards. Meet the Super 6, Jamaica's finest. Constable Monique Bartley, Corporal Stephen Smith, Corporal Rojeanne Holt, Detective Corporal Chadwick Williams, Constable Chantel Powell, and Detective Corporal Livy Evans. Finalists for the prestigious 2025 LASCO JCF Saluting Our Heroes Police of the Year Award. Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online as we highlight and celebrate the outstanding service, leadership, and community impact of the Super 6. So tune in to Cliff Hughes Online Friday, October 24 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Super 6 finalists for the 2025 Saluting Our Heroes Police of the Year Awards. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by LASCO Chin Foundation and the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. We're heading to the Twin Island Republic. Mounting U.S. operations in the Caribbean Sea targeting alleged drug traffickers have sparked concern and division across the Caribbean region. It's prompted warnings from national security officials and calls from CARICOM leaders for peace and restraint. The developments come after a series of deadly U.S. airstrikes ordered by the Donald Trump administration against suspected or alleged drug trafficking vessels off the Venezuelan coast.
In response, CARICOM heads of government have reaffirmed their commitment to fighting narco-trafficking and the illegal trade in guns which adversely affect the region. While signaling their commitment to fighting drugs and arms trafficking, the 15-member regional group also affirmed their commitment to maintaining the region as a zone of peace.
The CARICOM heads are saying that dialogue is the answer to resolving disputes and conflict. Now, in that statement, the statement from the heads of government comes amid the dramatic escalation in military strikes by the Trump administration. The strikes have reportedly killed at least 2 CARICOM nationals from Trinidad and Tobago.
Their families have denied that they were drug dealers. At least 27 other people have been killed in the airstrikes. The Trump administration says the strikes are meant to disrupt a thriving illegal drugs trade.
Now, despite concern, Trinidad's Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar has thrown her support behind the strikes, and you'd recall, listeners, she urged the U.S. government to, quote, kill them all violently. That's a direct quote. The incident has stirred unease across the country and reignited debate about Washington's expanding military footprint in this region. Joining us now, senior reporter at CNC3 News in Trinidad and Tobago, Ryan Bechu. Good evening, Ryan.
Great to be with you guys.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening.
First of all, what on earth is happening with the Persad-Bissessar administration and its posture?
Well, it's an interesting development that has continued to develop over the last few weeks, and the Prime Minister is adamant that she's going to put the national security of Trinidad and Tobago first. And it's a very interesting development in the way that the CARICOM region is handling this situation out in the Caribbean Sea. Being in Trinidad and Tobago is, I can tell you, vastly different from the way that it's being viewed on the outside. That's because national security and crime in particular remains the number one issue in the country, and the recently minted Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar knows that. She knows that a large part of that election victory was the people's frustration on the last administration's handling or lack thereof of crime. So she knows that this is a huge issue, and it's one that Trinidad and Tobago has struggled with, continues to struggle with, and this she's really tried to play into the hands of how we can, how the country itself can deal with this transnational crime that has really destabilized this nation.
So she's giving the populist bent, obviously, but is she getting support from Trinidadians? Because at least 2 of your nationals are alleged to have been killed in what amounts to extrajudicial killings. There was no process. They were simply blown up.
That's a really good question. In the midst of all of the CARICOM debacle, if you want to call it that, the back and forth between CARICOM, I would tell you that many Trinidadians are less concerned about regional unity and integration and a CARICOM stance, and more concerned about where we are going in terms of the fight against crime. And that's really the honest truth. There are, of course, some who are concerned about, regional unity and our stance in CARICOM, but a lot of people also view CARICOM as very much irrelevant in the conversation, irrelevant in the actions of the United States, irrelevant in what CARICOM can do, irrelevant in the way that CARICOM has handled crime. A few television shows brought up the CARICOM Crime Summit that happened right in Port of Spain a few years ago, and the lack of impact that had on a country like Trinidad and Tobago that went on to have maybe the second or highest homicide rate in years. So the feeling on the ground is less of a concern about what damage or potential damage the administration might be doing to relations with CARICOM, and more so on where are we going in terms of this transnational crime that has really torn Trinidad and Tobago communities apart.
And it's interesting that you say that, because I also get the sense that here in Jamaica, the vast majority of our people are not particularly concerned about this regional project, and more concerned about what our government does to protect our interests. But be that as it may, your Prime Minister appears indelicate, let me put it that way, in how she communicates policy on national security. For example, kill them all violently, urging a foreign power to essentially have free reign in Caribbean waters, something that we haven't seen in a very long time, and really violating the sovereign waters of this region, and breaking with her colleagues who are urging restraint. She does go about it in a very indelicate way, doesn't she?
So I wouldn't be able to speak for the government, but what I can tell you is the general consensus of the administration at hand at the moment seems to connect, or at least is trying to connect, with the frustration of everyday Trinidadians who are at the mercy of criminals. Trinidad and Tobago doesn't manufacture guns, yet there are many guns in the country that are not only committing crimes, but also homicides and murders. And so what the administration, while it was in opposition and then now in government, and I guess Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar is leading in that regard, is to show that they too are frustrated, that they too understand the frustration of citizens who are fed up with crime, who are fed up with crime in their communities, home invasions, murders, homicides. And the rhetoric, if you want to call it that, or the statements from the Prime Minister, I assume, have only tried to mirror that frustration to the nation. It's it seems to have always been less about diplomacy. In fact, I think Trinidad and Tobago, when it comes to national security, citizens are now unhinged. And I think that the government, led by the Prime Minister, has really tried to show the nation that they too are frustrated and they too understand the frustration that everyday Trinidadians are going through. And her statements, are geared towards showing the nation that, she's here for the betterment of Trinidad and Tobago, not the CARICOM region.
If I could just follow up, because the PNM historically has been more supportive of the regional movement, the integration movement. How are they balancing that need to attend to the wishes of the population on crime and saying to the government, you really ought to agree with CARICOM on this?
Yeah, that's a good point, because, I would dare say that had it not been for the opposition PNM, then that basis and that point of CARICOM and the need to have strong relations within CARICOM might have slipped under the carpet, might have gone unnoticed. And it sort of brings me back to the point that I was making a little bit earlier, guys, that a lot of Trinidadians, yes, they want regional unity, they enjoy traveling to the other islands, they're all for all of that. But a lot of Trinidadians as well are really less sensitive to the CARICOM issue and more to the national security issue. And that's right. The PNM has consistently said that, we cannot sacrifice our CARICOM stance. We need to stand together with this zone of peace. And they've really been the voice for Caribbean unity on this matter of U.S. warships in the Caribbean Sea.
Yeah. Let me ask you, Ran, there's another factor. There's the crime factor in Trinidad and Tobago. But what of the migration, given what's happening in Venezuela? Venezuelans crossing the Gulf of Paria to get into Trinidad and Tobago. How is that playing in the mix?
So that's where CARICOM now comes into play for Trinidad and Tobago. Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar, over the last 24 hours-ish, that was her challenge to CARICOM. She said to CARICOM, why don't you raise up your voices that you are speaking with and say to Venezuela, take back your 200 prisoners that are imprisoned in our system and taking $3 million a month from the Trinidad and Tobago economic system that can otherwise be used locally, domestically. Why don't you do that? Why don't you urge Caracas to take back its citizens? Of course, Trinidad and Tobago has been trying to deport the Venezuelans that have committed crimes here, but Caracas has declined it. And that's where we have essentially arrived with this migration crisis. The Prime Minister has been trying to deport these, and now she's bringing CARICOM, the same CARICOM that she has been critical of or has not sided with. She's saying, why to CARICOM, why don't you urge Caracas to take back your citizens, the Venezuelan citizens who are in Trinidad and Tobago, and save this country some $3 million a month, TT dollars.
Ran, do you think she's reading the public sentiments in Trinidad and Tobago correctly? Is she on the right side of the issue?
That's a really difficult question to answer. There are so many different sentiments. There are so many different frustrations. But what I can tell you is that they're headed towards 6 months in office, and national security was at the top of the agenda. There was a lot of focus on crime, and particularly grassroots crime in small communities across Trinidad and Tobago. And I think that Kamla Persad-Bissessar and the UNC understood that Trinidadians and Tobagonians were frustrated with the crime situation. And she's only tried in her first 6 months to keep that narrative going, that she understands that she's trying to do something about it, and even if U.S. President Donald Trump is sending warships in the Caribbean, and it could have an impact on our sovereignty, that it is for the betterment of, or maybe the medium term or long term benefit of the national security apparatus in this country. But there are differing voices, but she seems to have the ears of those who are willing to listen, that that this exercise in the Caribbean Sea and any potential exercise on mainland in Venezuela could eventually lead to a safer Trinidad and Tobago, given the challenges that this nation has faced with transnational organized crime, not just when it comes to guns and ammunition, but also the drug trade that has flown through these waters.
And Ryan, outside of the matter of deportation and migration, what's the relationship like between Port of Spain and Caracas?
That's an interesting one because for many weeks we've seen back and forth between Caracas and Port of Spain, and there are still Venezuelan officials who continue to criticize Trinidad and Tobago and Trinidad and Tobago's government on the stance that it continues to take as it pertains to the U.S. warships. So the rhetoric on the Trinidad and Tobago government side is sort of tempered over the last few weeks, particularly with the announcement that a potential OFAC license, which will allow Trinidad to work with Venezuela on an oil field that Venezuela has ownership of. That has sort of tempered, but certainly in Caracas, there is still a lot of frustration from particularly Venezuelan authorities. Up to this week, there was some criticism for ministry officials in Trinidad from Venezuelan officials out in Caracas.
One final one, Ryan. There was a report earlier that Prime Minister Bessesa dismissed concerns raised that her breaking with CARICOM could jeopardize Trinidad and Tobago's quest to win a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council next year, and she was dismissive of that. How is that going down in Trinidad?
Yeah, again, and this plays right into the playbook that I assume, and I've mentioned in this interview that Kamala Persad-Bissessar and her administration are going after. It doesn't matter if this is what I am assuming. It doesn't matter if Trinidad and Tobago doesn't get this temporary seat on the UN Security Council. In fact, her exact words were, "I simply do not care if anyone withdraws their support. That is their choice." She said, "You should ask CARICOM leaders about this. Quite frankly, my only care and concern is for the people of Trinidad and Tobago." So, she's blatantly said she's not going to toe CARICOM's line while Trinidad and Tobago, in her words, goes to hell with drugs, out-of-control violent crime, murders for the last 20 years. Added to that, tens of thousands of illegal Venezuelan migrants have strained services in Trinidad and Tobago. These are all her words, not mine.
When is she due to go to Washington?
We have no clue just yet when she will be traveling to Washington. We assume that will be coming up in the next few weeks, if not months. But she has made it clear. She has made it clear that according to her, her goal is to by whatever means necessary to make Trinidad and Tobago a safer place than it was before April 28th general elections. And her words, as you have quite correctly pointed out in this interview, her words have only backed that up. No matter who it's hit across the CARICOM or international region.
I wouldn't be surprised if soon Mrs. Persad-Bissessar says she's gonna make Trinidad great again. Ryan Bechu, senior reporter at CNC3 News.
She's close to it because she said it's Trinidad first, which sounds very familiar.
There you go. Thank you so much, Ryan. I appreciate the perspectives.
Thank you.
Always be great being on the program.
Yeah, man. Cliff, I've been thinking about this, and it's easy for what I'm going to call the globalists to criticize Kamala Persad-Bissessar. But I think it's time we recognize, that in this new world order that Donald Trump is carving out in the West, countries are starting to become more insular and inward-looking, and recognizing, I think, that a lot of the global project, the integration project, you think about any of the major integration movements across the world, they've largely failed, and people are becoming critical of them because they have not delivered. Mm-hmm. Think about it. In the UK, you see reform, the rise of reform. You see what has happened in the United States. You see what's happening in this very region. And he's a chairman of CARICOM. He's not as indelicate and inelegant as Kamala Persad-Bissessar. But Andrew Holness has been pursuing a Jamaica First agenda in foreign policy, in economic affairs. He's been doing that, just much more tactfully and diplomatically than Mrs. Persad-Bissessar has managed. It's time that people recognize that the world order is changing. And governments have to start to deliver for their people who are becoming dissatisfied with democracy.
Yeah. And throw into that changing set of dynamics Donald Trump.
Yes.
Donald Trump. Yeah. We don't know. Yeah. You can hardly plan.
So you have to secure your interest.
Yeah.
You have to secure your interest. Well, we'll see how it plays. But poor Andrew Holness. He's chairman of CARICOM. It's part of his problem
What's
now.
poor about him?
I mean, it's part of his problem now. Because I'm sure he wants to hold the block together. He don't want it to splinter on his watch.
Yes.
Yeah? He demits the chair in December, I believe. Yeah, it's going to be a long 2 months. We're going to take the break and come back with more.
New NHT loans now in effect, up to 9 million for individuals and as high as 23 million for co-applicants, making home ownership more accessible for Jamaicans. We are building Jamaica.
The time by the office of the Prime Minister is...
It's 24 minutes after 7.
Home is closer than you think when you save towards your dream home with the Homeowners Savings Plan, or HOSP, from CIBC Caribbean. With HOSP, you unlock preferential interest rates to earn more interest on your savings and pay less with a discounted mortgage rate. You can even borrow up to an additional US $5,000 or its equivalent to help you with your closing costs. Get home faster when you save the HOSP way with CIBC.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton. Weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
We're back with you on Nationwide at 5. My name is Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Hughes of Cliff.
His name is Cliff Hughes. We told you earlier the opposition walked out of the parliament. You heard from their spokesperson on information, Nikisha Burchell, alleging that the walkout was more about principle than politics. She says she does not believe the House Speaker, Juliet Holness, is discharging her duties in an impartial manner. The leader of government business in the House of Representatives is Floyd Green. He joins us now. Good evening, Mr. Green.
Good evening.
Evening, Ricardo. Evening, Cliff. Even to all your viewers and listeners.
What's going on in the House?
Well, I think today was unfortunate in how the opposition conducted itself. I think for those of us who have watched Parliament for decades, there are times that the Speaker will make a ruling that you do not find favor with. It happens on both sides of the aisle, and I remember the days of old I used to watch and say, boy, why is the Speaker being so hard on the Labour Party? But at the end of the day, you have to respect the Speaker ruling. And what happened today was that the Minister of Environment Climate Change gave a statement to the House indicating Tropical Storm Melissa, sharing the trajectory, sharing some preliminary information about preparedness, and then the Speaker and then the opposition had their shadow spokesperson, Omar Newell, give a 5-minute response. And I mean, he was free in the response as it is to highlight where he thinks the deficiencies of the government are, and clearly he did that. Then we went...
Before you continue, Minister Green, just to clarify something for the listeners. The standing orders allows the person who is a substantive spokesperson to give extended commentary.
Yes, so to give, so the statement by Minister should be 12 minutes. You know, sometimes there's a request for extension, and then the person who has the portfolio responsibility on the opposition side is to give a 5-minute response. And that happened today.
But it doesn't. But it doesn't allow every other member of the opposition to then get up and give a 5-minute long response.
What it calls for after are questions. And the questions have to be germane to what was given in the statement. And, unfortunately, what the Speaker is trying to avoid, a practice is beginning to creep in, where instead of going to the question, some long preambles are given. The Speaker said, listen, no preambles, just get to your question. Then the question was on a matter that would not be in the remit of the Minister of Environment and Climate Change. In fact, the question started out by saying, is the Minister aware of monies being owed to contractors by the NWA? And the Speaker said, listen, no, that is improper. Gave the member a chance to rephrase. The member got up again, same line. Called the opposition spokesperson, now the leader of opposition business, spoke to him, said, listen, do you need us to take a 5-minute recess so we can go over this yourself and me as leader of government business? He said, no. I spoke to the Speaker, I said, let's give him another opportunity. He got up again and repeated the same thing. So the Speaker ruled and said, it's improper. Who next? And member Daly got up from St. Catherine and turned on her mic and was about to ask her a question. And the leader of the opposition said, no questions from this side, until the question that was trying to be asked by the member from St. Mary Southeast is answered and is allowed to be asked, which clearly smacks of disrespect to the House, to the Speaker. Once the Speaker has ruled, she is the only arbiter on questions of this nature. Once the Speaker has ruled, then you take the ruling. Remember, the opposition has multiple avenues that they can speak to say, boy, they don't appreciate this, or the government should do more. But if the Speaker has ruled on the House, you allow the business of the House to continue. And that's how it descended. And again, when the Speaker is pulling order to the House by saying, listen, there's nobody else who can intervene. You only ask a question. You can't go into another statement. So when the leader of the opposition got up and started to speak about the conduct of the House, the Speaker rightly said, leader of the opposition, and stopped him from continuing. That is when he took up his marbles and left. And I thought it was most unfortunate and prospect of feeling a sense of entitlement that it's your way or the highway, and cause the opposition not to be there to participate in the other matters of the House. And we had significant matters, including the supplemental estimates that were tabled and taken, including NHT orders that were taken and taken, including exemption orders for the leader of the opposition, that even in his absence, we took them and sent them to the relevant committee.
House Leader, isn't this just a problem of Mrs. Holness? The opposition has a problem with Mrs. Holness. Mr. Golding clearly has a problem with Mrs. Holness. And his 27 members have told you that they would not support her. Isn't that what this comes down to? Because I read the standing orders myself, and I thought her ruling was in order. But they continue to insist that she's not being impartial.
So, I think what the opposition fails to do, and I hope that as we go on in the parliament, it won't repeat itself, is that whether you like Mrs. Holness or not, or whether you thought she should be Speaker or not, she is the Speaker of the House. And any move to undermine the Speaker of the House undermines the Parliament. And that is sometimes what we miss. We're not sitting there as people who should be acrimonious, but as people who should be working together. And again, it would have been very easy for the other questions. Member Malahoo Fort got up straight to the question. Member Central Westmoreland got up straight to the question. His question was a little off point because he was asking the minister about money for drain cleaning, and we know that the Minister of Environment does not deal with that. Mm-hmm. But they gave no preamble. They went straight to the point. Yes. So if we take the Speaker as the Speaker, take Mrs. Holness out of it, then we can have a well-run, because we have seen, all of us have seen, the Prime Minister in full flight, and Mrs. Holness walks off his mic because he's over the time, and he has to sit down, and the leader of government business has to get up and has to say, Speaker, allow the Prime Minister more time. That's how the House runs.
Yes. No. It's going to be a rough parliamentary term. That much is clear.
The good news, Cliff, is that we were still able to get the business of the House done. We were able to pass the supplemental estimates, which was important in terms of reorganizing. We have a new ministry. We have heads that have moved. And for them to access resources, you have to do this process. So we were able to convene our PAAC for that to meet. And like I said, and there were other matters that we were able to get through, including exemption notices for 2 members of the opposition. So, we're dedicated to continue the business of the House.
By the way, Ms. Bertel told us earlier this afternoon that the opposition had written to the Speaker trying to get some leeway in the rules.
Your counterpart, Philip Paulwell.
And again, I was on an interview with Philip, and that is introduced to try and create a different context, because the Speaker did say in the House, and to go back, once I got, we had cabinet before Parliament today, and once we had signed off on the agenda, I called my counterpart and I said, Member Paulwell, the Minister of Environment, will be making a statement on Tropical Storm Melissa. Sorry for the late call, it was 1 o'clock, but I'm advising you so you can advise your member who will respond. The member has said, and I guess his spokesperson information, that they had written a letter to the Speaker, who she said in the chamber that she has not been able to peruse that letter, because that letter came to hand somewhere around 2 o'clock. And as such, she was getting ready for the House. But the letter, based on what Member Paulwell has said, was to ask for an opportunity to give a statement on the adjournment. This is what Member Paulwell shared on the adjournment of another interview that we had earlier on Tropical Storm Melissa. So we had already satisfied that by the government giving a statement, and they could respond to it. So the letter is really a red herring, trying to raise an issue to create a context that they're being victimized, when that's not the case. If it had come earlier, and then the letter was no longer necessary, having heard the agenda and the fact that the matter was going to be put on the agenda.
Cliff says it's going to be a rough parliamentary term. Obviously, cooperation between yourself and Philip Paulwell, that's going to be key. So far, you're not seeing eye to eye. You haven't seen eye to eye on the matter of the committee, the chair of the committee. You've not seen eye to eye on the matter of the election of the Speaker. How can you mend fences to ensure that we don't see this kind of, she said it's principle and not politics, but this kind of grandstanding.
Principle and not
power. I'll say two things. One, I have been making genuine efforts. In fact, on Monday we had a meeting, myself and the leader of government business, to look back at the committee issue clearly. There's a divergence of opinion. I informed him after we met and looked at various options that this was the direction, and that we would revisit the matter in the Standing Orders Committee to see if we do want to make any changes on what committees know. That's a difference of opinion. As I said, I called him today. So I have kept the lines open. I have tried to be very transparent. I think the challenge may not be with the leader of government business, but it appears that what you saw happen today was the leader of opposition usurping the leader of opposition business, giving instructions to the House that nobody else was asked a question. And then when he felt aggrieved, without consultation, picked up his things and walked out. The temperament of the leader of the opposition has to be changed if we're going to have cooperation. Because when I speak to Member Paulwell, it's cordial, might disagree, but we operated on principle. The walkout was an unprincipled stance today and set a bad trajectory for the opposition's dealing in the Parliament. Nonetheless, the business of the House continued, and the people can rest assured that as a government, we will get the business done.
Minister Green, the Prime Minister clearly has started succession planning. In addition to your senior post in the cabinet, you now lead the House of Representatives. What signal do you think he's sending to you?
I think the Prime Minister, when you put in a good shift at the office, the Prime Minister asks you to do more like other, and you've seen it right across the board. You've seen it with some of my other colleagues who he's given other responsibilities. You've seen it with people who have now become ministers when they were ministers without portfolios. So I think the Prime Minister is saying that we have worked for him to develop a certain level of trust, and confidence that we can manage more, along with significant portfolios. And just to get to the task and get it done, he has said he wants an action-oriented government, and that's what we're tasked to do. And I will lead the House in that regard. So I'm very happy that despite the noise, despite the your word grandstanding, we settled down as a government team. And we continued. It could have been easily that we would have gotten distracted and not complete the business, and then the ministries not have the challenge, and then the people not get the sort of interaction that they're looking for. No, we're focused on delivering for the people.
So you don't read it as an indication that your future may be bright? People are talking about it, though. People are talking about it.
I grew up in country. When you grow up in country, once you do a little goodness, the people tell you your future bright. So we always adhere to that, right? So no, I think it's about really. And when the Prime Minister met with us, he was very, clear. Listen, we've laid some good foundations. We have executed some good groundwork for some projects. Now is execution. As he said, run through the tape. And clearly, I think before I've had a great relationship across the aisle, so we're trying to leverage that, but, the dynamics are a little different, but we still push it forward.
When did you first enter the Parliament, Floyd Green?
2016. That's when
2016. So you're now into your third term?
Yes, I'm now in my third term.
Okay.
And he now leads the legislative business of the government.
Yeah.
All right, Floyd Green.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
He's the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, and also the Leader of Government Business in the House of Representatives.
Andrew Holness is doing it again. Preparing.
I'm glad you say that than me, because Minister Green clearly, expertly dodging. But, the indication is clear.
Yes.
The indication is clear.
Yes.
It's a very senior post.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Take the break. Come back with more.
On Friday, October 24, tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. when LASCO, in partnership with the Jamaica Constabulary Force, proudly announces the Super 6 finalists for the 2025 Saluting Our Heroes Police of the Year Awards. Meet the Super 6, Jamaica's finest. Constable Monique Bartley, Corporal Stephen Smith, Corporal Rojen Holt, Detective Corporal Chadwick Williams, Constable Chantal Powell, and Detective Corporal Livy Evans. Finalists for the prestigious 2025 LASCO JCF Saluting Our Heroes Police of the Year Award. Tune into Cliff Hughes Online as we highlight and celebrate the outstanding service, leadership, and community impact of the Super 6. So tune into Cliff Hughes Online Friday, October 24 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Super 6 finalists for the 2025 Saluting Our Heroes Police of the Year Awards. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Lasco Chin Foundation and the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
Taboo topics, bulletins after dusk,
riveting discussions,
celebrity news and interviews,
topics that are shunned by society,
and everything else in between. Boyatings After Dark with Kareem Boyatings each and every Wednesday, 8 to 11 p.m. Boyatings After Dark. No topic is too taboo or hard to discuss. Come get your mind blown and your curiosity explored. Boyatings After Dark.
As we grow older, there are many challenges that we have to confront, but these years can represent the best in our lives. Coming of Age during Nationwide This Morning on Thursdays explores issues persons 50 and over confront. It also provides expert opinions on how we can improve the quality of our lives as we get older. That's Coming of Age, this and every Thursday during Nationwide This Morning at 6:51 a.m.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path, unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis, weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
We're taking your calls now. The number 876-618-6730. That's 876-618-6730. We'll get those lines up for you soon, but the number to call is 876-618-6730. You know what I feel for, Cliff?
What?
Some corned beef. Jesus. Don't you ever know, just hear me now? And cabbage with yellow yam and banana.
Yes.
I feel for some of that.
Mm.
Yeah. I feel for some of that. I feel for some of that. Faithful. Faithful.
You think about these things, don't you?
I do. You have to think about it. 876-618-6730. That's the number to call. Faithful, are you hearing me? No, not hearing Faithful. Jacqueline Thomas say and add some dumplings. See there? Oh. And Charmaine Walker say a storm food that. Yes, man. Bully beef and cabbage. Nice, bad. Faithful. Bobby, good evening.
Yes, good evening, Cliff. Good evening, Ricardo.
Good evening, Bobby.
How are you?
Ricardo, you must eat healthy, you know.
Why me can't eat like a corned beef and cabbage and yam and banana?
Go the vegetarian style.
What that now? What me eat? A storm food in the storm I come?
No, man. You put away the corned beef, man. The corned beef, it is not healthy.
So what me eat it? What me eat next time? What me eat next time?
Okay, then. I will tell you one day.
All right.
But anyway,
yes.
I would like you to invite me one day at this new studio now. What I saw on YouTube today.
Yes.
Inside there look really good, man.
A bashment, man.
Yeah, man, may I tell you. Yeah, but what I really want to say is, and I'm so happy that I have you and Ricardo online today, because not every time we discuss current affairs,
yes,
you all agree with me. But do you know, I just want to say this. Imagine a national event took place, and this is not the first time, and the leader of opposition was absent. You tell me something. Do he have the interest of the country at heart? And even look what happened today in Parliament. I will say this, and I will say it over and over. I mean, no, say, my friends on the other side, them are going to bash me, but I don't care. You see, September 3 gone, the minority of Jamaicans who voted for the opposition don't have the interest of the country at heart.
No, I wouldn't say that. But what I would say, the first point you made, I agree with. I think a pattern has developed now, and it's an unsettling and uncomfortable pattern. You really have to ask yourself, why is Mr. Golding absenting himself from these very important events? We have them because they are important, state events, And he holds an office established by the Constitution, a high office of state. He ought to be there. I saw one commentator.
He's been paid to go there.
28, is it? 28 million, I think.
Yeah.
Or 26, one of them. I saw a commentator saying that is it that Mr. Golding doesn't want to be there because he doesn't want to stand when the Prime Minister enters these things. I hope that's not the pettiness, but there are protocols, and if we start to just disregard them, then bad form.
Ricardo,
bad form.
No, Ricardo, that is not it. Everybody in Jamaica know that the reason why Mr. Golding is absenting himself from all of these things up until now, he cannot come to terms of what happened in September 3.
No, but remember, even before the election,
Prime Minister.
No, but even before the election, he had a spotty record in terms of attendance at these things, even before the election. He did. He was frequently absent from these things.
You see, and finally, I should say this, I must commend Nationwide wholeheartedly. I hear Cliff comment on it today, and I don't hear no other radio station comment on this. And to be honest, I must say, Nationwide, keep up the good work. And one thing I have to say to Mr. Golden tonight, look here now, sir, when you are an opposition leader, you must always be beside the Prime Minister at national event on behalf of the people of this country.
And Bobby, I think there's a political advantage to that, because when the people see you and you're front and center, I think in their minds they can start to picture you. Could you actually be Prime Minister? But when you're not there and you're absent, you don't really factor. And his predecessors, I can't think of any of his predecessors being so frequently absent.
No,
they all attended.
Not one.
They all attended, yeah.
Not one. Because you see, you remember in 2011 when Mrs. Simpson Miller gave us a fine whopping. And look here, and every event.
What was it? Charlie again? 42, 21.
Yeah. Right. And you remember at every event, the leader of the opposition was there.
And she would always hug him and kiss him and call him her son. And that couldn't have been easy for him because he was patronizing in a way and belittled him. But you're right, he always turned up it nonetheless.
Well, just one thing I just want to say, Mr. Golden, stand up, be a man now, put away the past and work with the government on behalf of the people of Jamaica. Okay then, and thank you very much. Yeah?
All right, Bobby. Take care. 876-618-6730. That's the number we're taking your calls on. 876-618-6730. And the thing is, Cliff, he attended a wreath laying earlier in the morning for Norman. Right. So he was clearly well. He should attend. He should attend.
Well, yeah. I was saying this morning as well, you weren't at King's House yesterday.
No.
I went. And the Governor General struggled. Yeah. They had deliberately taken breaks and timed it, woven the breaks into the program to allow the Governor General to get a breather. And you could see that apparently the surgery he has had,
spinal surgery,
yes, it's taken a toll on him. And he had to be seated and was walking with the aid of a cane,
which he has been doing frequently.
Yes.
But we don't like in this country to talk about when our leaders are not well and it may be time for them to go.
Well, yeah, because the GG has been at it for 15 years now.
He was appointed in 2008, I think, or 9.
2009.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 15, 16 years.
Yeah. Cedric.
Yes. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First, let me congratulate you on your new studio and your new location. I think downtown is the perfect place for you guys, as you are a part of the public, a part of Jamaica, and they appreciate it very much. We appreciate it very much because of your balanced views, your honest views. Sometimes it's not honest for those of us who don't accept it, but it's honest just the same. My other observation is, Ricardo, you just said this evening that they don't like me, just only.
I mean, that's clear to me. I think it goes beyond a professional thing. It just seems personal to me. Because when I watch her, I don't find that she's unfair at all. She shuts up the government members. In fact, she's the only speaker I've ever seen to get Edward Warmington to stop.
Right. And she's doing her work the proper way, but it's just that. They don't like her because she's trying to lay down the rule of the place. She's trying to use it because she knows what they are up to. We Jamaica know what they're up to. They are there to disrupt and to try to get things out of whack. And the lady is not going to allow that to happen. We cannot accept that from the opposition.
Or
right?
is it that they think that because they had, the increased seat count, more people voted for them this time around, so they should have a bigger say in how the house is run. Is that it?
They forgot that they are opposition, they're not the opposition, they're not government, the opposition. They're forgetting that. And they don't want to accept that. And then once again they say, Mr. Golding has no respect. He doesn't respect the Prime Minister. I don't think he think it should be leading in. That's how it's coming across out here.
I would hope that's not it.
That's how we are looking at it now.
I would hope that's not it.
He doesn't respect the Prime Minister because of who he is, and this man something is wrong with him. It doesn't matter who was there, as long as the rules are being laid down, they would object.
Well,
they don't like rules. They're not a part of rules. They don't like rules. But we are on their case. We know who they are. We have seen them before, so we know what to expect from them.
What do you mean case?
We are here for them.
What do you mean by that?
All right.
All right, Cedric. 876-618-6730. Boy, Cliff, I don't know. The wounds that were open in that campaign just gone.
Yep.
I don't know if they're going to close. I don't know if they're going to heal.
It's going to take some time.
Yeah.
The elections were only, 6-7 weeks ago?
Yeah.
So it's going to take some time. Yeah.
But I wonder if it can ever heal. It really, really was nasty if you think about it,
It was. It was
very, very personal.
But don't forget, coming down the road are some developments in government and in the opposition that will impact the state of play where the politics is concerned.
And the stance.
Yes. Yeah. Because the question of the leadership of the PNP is not resolved.
Not settled.
Yeah. And that has to be dealt with possibly next year.
Yeah. 876-618-6730. That's the number. We can probably squeeze one more. Grant, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Ricardo and Mr. Hughes.
How are you?
Good evening.
Well, I'm here and I'm still breathing, giving thanks.
You sound tired, man, Grant.
Yes, a bit. I'm struggling a bit with my health,
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. What's on your mind?
Mr. Golden, and in party. I just wonder how Mr. Golden I get with so much something.
What him do?
Mr. Golden don't realize the masses of this country are black people. Yes, if you talk things like these because he might get out of hand. This man just go on and stop and nobody won't dry him up. How am I get with so many things that disrespect the people of the country? This man is a white man. And he just disrespect black people like that and nobody won't deal with in case.
And what do you mean by nobody won't deal with in case? What do you mean? What would you want to be done?
Mr. Hughes?
Yes.
When the JLP doing things, you hear some voices, some classist voices, loud and clear all about over the place, calling for the JLPs to give us some account or something at the side. When it is happening with the PNP, you don't hear any. So I'm just wondering if it's only these people as voice. You understand? When I say job, that's just for argument's sake. But Mr. Golden getting away with too much. He's disrespecting us.
You think he's getting away with it?
Ways.
You think he's getting away with it?
Yes,
when people like you make the observations you make and others before you this evening, that doesn't tell me he's getting away with it.
Right. You come on public radio and you raise it and you complain about it. Yeah.
But he continues. He continues.
Well, he can continue to do so at his own peril. Or not.
He don't respect us. He don't respect us. I don't like when I deal with the people of the country. This is always them. I don't know why they have this aim at this lady. This lady is an upstanding lady. None of them can stand up with a reputation. None of them. And they're just disrespecting this lady all the way like that.
All right, we got to leave it there this evening, sir.
Thank you for the call, Grant.
And take care of yourself, Grant.
Yeah, hope you feel better soon.
All right. That's how we're going to leave it. Thanks to our callers. Of course, our producer, Dana Davey, our technical operator, Andrew Anderson, of course, his team. Yes, and the team in the newsroom, led by the man to my left, Ricardo Brooks. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm the man to his left, Ricardo Brooks.
Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, by God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path. Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis, weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of The Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
How certain are you that you're taking proper care of your pets? How often do you take them to the vet? Just as we need annual checkups with our doctors, most pets need regular checkups too. Owning and caring for a family pet doesn't have to be a difficult or burdensome experience. Nationwide 90 FM has an exciting feature called Pets World that will help you take better care of your pets. Join Nationwide 90 FM every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning as we take you into the do's and don'ts of caring for your pets. That's Pets World every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
On Friday, October 24, tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. when LASCO, in partnership with the Jamaica Constabulary Force, proudly announces the Super 6 finalists for the 2025 Saluting Our Heroes Police of the Year Awards. Meet the Super 6, Jamaica's finest. Constable Monique Bartley, Corporal Stephen Smith, Corporal Rojen Holt, Detective Corporal Chadwick Williams, Constable Chantel Powell, and Detective Corporal Livy Evans. Finalists for the prestigious 2025 LASCO JCF Saluting Our Heroes Police of the Year Award. Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online as we highlight and celebrate the outstanding service, leadership, and community impact of the Super 6. So tune in to Cliff Hughes Online Friday, October 24 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Super 6 finalists for the 2025 Saluting Our Heroes Police of the Year Awards. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by LASCO Chin Foundation and the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, by God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path. Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis, weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.